To another live stream. We are joined today by Joey Boey. So I guess I've been pronouncing Joey Boey wrong the whole time.
Joey Boey.
I was pronouncing it Joey Boey, but it's Joey Boey. But I'm screwed either way. Anyhow, I want to thank you for being here, Joey, taking the time out to come here and let us ask you some questions and check out your work and just pass on some knowledge to us. We've had you in the chat so many times, and we've looked at your work and just been in all of it personally, and it's been great to have you here. So I just want to say,
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys wouldn't mind showing Joey's the respect I think his work deserves, and give him a follow if you guys are here. Go check him out on Instagram. Very definitely rates a heck of a lot more
Thank you.
eyes on there than it has for sure. Anyhow, let's say hi to some people over here. Smoke, thanks for being here, man. Tim, great to have you. Who else we got? Andy B. I think that's about it. Mr. Lonely Hearts. Mosu. What's up, peeps? What else we got here? All right, guys. Well, I thought we could start off by just jumping over that way. If people watch us after the words, like, who is this person? So let's pull up your Instagram account. I think that would be fun, and just kind of show people your work, so that way if they're thinking of questions that they might have or anything, they can easily. Oh man, of course I screwed it up. See if I can get your work again.
Yeah, that's mine. I'll take credit for that.
Let's see. There we go. Okay, now it's working. Boom. Okay. Anyhow, this is the type of work Joey does, and if you guys have questions, I think we should start it off with some questions from you guys. So if you want to get those questions in now, we'll scroll across here. So, Joey, I got a question. I know we've already talked about it, but I thought maybe it might be a question for people asking. How long have you been tattooing for? And I know it might be spread out, but...
It's spread out. I started, I'll say, about 6 years ago. I started, but I found it really hard, so I quit. And then about a year later, I decided, I'm going to give it another go. And then I started watching, I told you this, like hundreds of hours of videos at night. When I was supposed to be in bed, I'd be watching it till like 3 in the morning. And then I got back into it. And then fortunately, I had like my brother and then a few clients that, let me do work on them for cheap as well, super cheap. And but then, from there, I just started looking at my work and thought, I can do this. And then, started doing it from there, really. But for the last, I would say about 3.5 years, I've been doing it more, once a week. I do it once a week, maybe 3 times a month only for the last 3 years. But that's only because I'm a full-time dad, as you know. Well, I don't think the chat knows, but yeah, I'm a full-time dad to 3 kids.
Wow.
So I don't have the luxury of doing it, 3 days to 5 days a week as I want to, but the kids come first, to be honest.
Absolutely, man. And like I talked to you before, one of the reasons why I really, on top of the, myself wanting to pick your brain a little bit and whatnot, but I just thought that was a bit inspirational, because we hear from people, I do anyhow, who are like, how am I supposed to learn this trade? Nobody will take me as an apprentice. Even if I got an apprenticeship, I don't have the time because I need to work a job. And you hear all these things. And so when you find somebody that, said, did it once, realized that, dang it, this is way harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm the heck with that.
But you know what? The first time I did it, I actually practiced on my leg, and I did it, and it hurt so bad. And I was like, I don't remember tattoos hurting this much. And I realized I was riding the tube. So
yeah.
I just remember I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right. And it was just my son's name on my leg, and I just remember, oh my god, this hurts more than what I remember. And that's when I thought, I actually can't do this. I'm doing something wrong here. But I was using cheap machines. I was buying eBay coil machines, which I'm sure everyone, when they first started out, they were buying cheap machines off eBay or Amazon, etc.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that you learn, that you can't be cheap when it comes to tattooing. You have to, if you want to get better, you have to just fork out, invest in it. It's an investment. You've got to invest in the products you're using, make sure they're good quality products, and then it will pay off in the end. if you're like really passionate about it.
I agree. I mean, it's like any trade, I do believe. I mean, if you're building houses, if you're cutting wood,
Yeah,
you're using it all the time. You want good blades on your saw, you want good saws, and I think those things develop over time. You invest more and more, but yeah, I think it is definitely a good thing to start off, or maybe not straight out the gate, but if you find that okay, this is something I might really be interested and passionate about pursuing heavily, or more heavily, then yeah, maybe look into a well-made, something that has a bit of more of a reputation, something decent, not as good
yeah.
machine off an Amazon, because they will all tattoo, as you know. I mean, they all do the same thing. They push a needle or a bar up and down, but some just do it better with more control, different, almost like different gearing, even though it's not. Um,
Yeah.
but
So what's
go
your
ahead.
favorite? I'm just looking at the chat.
Yes,
Oh, if I start from the top. Sorry.
Smoke says you're a talented dad.
Thank you so much. I was finishing making dinner. I'm going to be tattooing soon. I'm convinced the masked archer is the masked archer. I've never used the masked. I always I think masked is
I've never used mass either.
isn't it a cheap like Chinese machine that's up and I don't know. I'm
The
assuming it's a
Massport, they
Chinese
are
made.
very popular, I believe, on Amazon. They're one, I
Bit-
think. I could be totally wrong, but I think they're very popular
Yeah, I
on
think it's
Amazon.
because they're quite cheap
Um,
and they're
I don't know who
mass
makes
made
masks.
like from China, I believe. But I don't think quality of machine wise they're that good. Obviously, if you're practicing on fake skin, then yeah, get it. Oh, like the mass should be okay for that. But I think when you start going to real skin, I think that's when you start needing to invest in good quality ink, needles, machine, everything basically. But it will pay off as long as you're passionate about it and you want to get better. Really. Someone said, "What's your favorite tattoo machine?" Well, because I only work 1 day a week, so I use the Zion, and I've had that for. I've been using it for about 3.5 years actually. That's when I started doing it more frequently tattooing. And I use the Zion. I have it with the what's it, the battery, the lightning bolt, the
Oh,
battery
the Bolt.
packs.
Yeah, the Bolt
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
I remember those two battery packs. They cost me £400, which is like $500 or something. But it's I
Yep.
thought to myself, you know what? If it's gonna change my tattoo game, because I had the power supply, the foot pedal, and all that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once you get rid of that and
Hmm.
you start using wireless, it makes your life so much easier.
You could never go back, to be
Yeah,
quite honest.
I can't go back
It
to
was
that.
a little weird at first because I kept stepping on the ground.
Yeah,
But I mean, that was literally a week and that was gone.
yeah, yeah. I
And
was
I
doing that as
remember
well.
people
Yeah,
made fun to give me a hard time in the beginning because I found my power supply died, and this was years ago,
yeah,
right around the time right before I started making YouTube videos, and I had to get a new power supply, and I said, well, what? I went online, and if I was on Amazon and I saw these
yeah.
$30 power supplies, I'm like, oh, wireless, never, I don't know about this, but they were only $30 at the time, so I ordered two of them.
That's cheap.
And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they were awesome. And people were like, "You can't use power. That's horrible." And now you look at it,
Yeah.
everything is wireless. So I'm glad I didn't listen to people on that one.
The people
But
that told you don't get them they're the people that like tattoo artists. They've been doing it for years, but they it's very hard for them to change and adapt.
yes,
I know it's like even some people still use coils, but those guys they're very stuck in their old ways. But with tattooing, you've got to keep with the trend, the times. It's changing so quick,
mm,
and if you don't keep up, you're gonna get your style is gonna be outdated very quick.
yes, yeah. That's the scary part is if I feel like if we ever get comfortable, I'm always scared to get comfortable, and
Yeah.
I think that's when you fail. Hey, by the way, I know there's other questions here, but Joey, I gotta ask you. I wish I could zoom in further, and for whatever reason I can't. Um, One of the things and I was talking just briefly about this beforehand, is that the translucence. I can't get the word. You know what I mean? The translucency, the translucent.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about the hands?
Yeah, the hands to the wings to the background. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
So
so
when I
subtle. I love
photoshopped it, what did I do? So when I photoshopped it, I just the hands was a layer on top of the wings, and I just lightly erased the line just to make it that look as in the hands is translucent without actually losing the detail. And even with you know, the wisp.
Yeah.
This is the wisp is it's a really cool thing that a lot of tattoo artists are doing now. Before, it used to be a straight uh, negative line, and it looked cool and all, but artists nowadays, they've found a way to make it look even better. Like if you go back to you know, my few earlier ones, there's two samurais fighting with the whisper. If you go down a bit, up a bit, up a bit.
Yep.
That one.
This
No,
one
right?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
you
like
see
that.
the wisp going through. It's actually quite a lot easier than it looks anyway. So you
Right.
could either do it through your design, through your stencil, so the lines are nice, clean, and straight, or you can just get a pen, draw two lines parallel to each other across the image, across your stencil. So once you've put the stencil down, draw two lines across it like that. And what you do is you make sure that line in between, that gap in between, is it's not going to be darker than the tattoo around it. So if you look closely, his right leg, see, I've gone there for a light to mid tone,
Yeah.
because obviously, and then above that, that's when it's the solid black on his outfit, or you know, whatever they call that. But
Yeah.
it gives it illusion that it's not just a negative line. It's more like a ray of light, or even a
Yeah.
smoke. It's like smoke, you know. It's white, you can see it, but it's translucent. You can see through smoke, and that's a really cool thing that you can add to your tattoo. It's like I said, it's easier to do. Just make sure that whatever's in that line is lighter than what's out of the line.
Now, are you doing this, or maybe for this particular piece,
No, I've
this
been doing that
post,
to a
like
lot
once
of
you
my
put it on
pieces
them, you were
now.
like, this will be cool. Boom, boom.
Yeah,
But you can do this in Procreate beforehand, like you did
yeah,
with
yeah. I do
hands.
it in Procreate just so that, because once I do it, you know, with Procreate, once you do a line and you hold it, the line
Yeah.
straightens up automatically,
Yeah.
right? So you can
Yeah.
do it that way, or you can do a slightly curved line and hold it, and it'll still give you a clean line. Whereas I
Clean.
find that if you can do it by hand, you got to take your time a bit more, but you can still get it with by hand as well. Because I do freehand stuff sometimes as well, so it just depends what's more comfortable for you, really. But you try it on your next one. Just
Yeah,
if
I really love the layering, and I like the idea, but I just never know where to sneak it in at. And I thought you snuck it in really well here, real like it just gives it that much more dynamic. I like it, so I was interested too, and so now I know. And Procreate designed it out, and then you're saying you went over the areas with just a real faint, maybe brought the strength of the eraser down a bit, and just kind of
yeah, just lightly
erased
brush it
away
away.
that a bit.
There's a way that you can position it. What you do is obviously you get the whole layer, and you turn the opacity down to halfway, and then
Yeah,
that's where you start moving it around to see where it looks better.
right.
And then once you like it in that position, you turn the opacity up, and then that's when you erase it. Then you erase the line after, just lightly, and you keep playing around with it.
Yeah, yeah. That opacity thing, as far as dropping the opacity of the layer down, like you said,
Yeah,
it is a really good tool when you're trying to layer, just in general, putting stuff on top of each other or whatnot.
yeah. That's something I'm trying to apply now. It's a really hard thing to do, but it's just I've got to slowly work at it, because I've got, like I said, once a week. There's only so much I can learn in, once a week.
I love this, by the way. All right, somebody did have a question, and I felt bad because I was
Yeah.
in the I'm asking you questions too. But they didn't say what their question was. Tat Gal, if you see this, go ahead and type your question. She said, "Can I ask a question, Joey? A question?" Absolutely, guys. If you have any questions for Joey, please, man. He's willing to share
To
information,
change
so
out
I
the
just
cam,
want.
fully adjustable stroke width.
And somebody was asking whose art this is. Jeremy, this is Joey's art. This is Joey's work here. Who's currently with us today. Also, I was looking at this too, man, and I saw the same kind of thing. So I'm guessing it was the same thing.
Yeah. So I kind of, this is my first attempt at it, actually. Where this is a street in Whitechapel, and you kind of just morphed into the face. It's not as, when I look at it, it's not as well morphed as I would like, but that
Right.
was the first time trying it.
What did
But
you
yeah,
find made it more successful? Because I like this morph, but I understand where you're coming from. You had maybe a different intention in mind, maybe when you went into it to get more of a different, I don't know, more of a morph look. I like it a lot, but I'm curious to hear, like, um, you know, what you would have done differently to this one.
So with the bricks, so this piece was really hard actually. This is a regular client of mine, but this back session took about, I think, like 7 sessions, and they were done. My sessions are normally 6 to 8 hours, like because I work 1 day a week. But this one, he kept tapping out, and I couldn't get into the rhythm of finishing it, and it was very rushed as well because I knew his pain threshold was like, it's not very long. It's literally 3 hours, and he's shaking, and I'm like, oh, I can't. Oh, sorry, that's my baby crying. Baby, can you just.
Hey, no, if you gotta go,
No. My missus is gonna grab.
Okay.
Baby. But yeah, this one took a while. I think if I had the time to sit there and he had the pain threshold, this could have come out a lot better than what it was. But in terms of the concept, it's like one of my favorite concepts.
I like it
Because he just said, I want a back toe, and he's like, I don't know what to get. I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to do a Jack the Ripper piece, and he goes, show me what you got, and I showed him this, and he was like, I love it, and I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, man. I really like it, but not that I should do it or I deserve to do it, but I would love to do large stuff with big open areas to shade and looking at the nose and all this stuff. It's like, in theory, in my brain, this would be fun. But in the moment, maybe, okay. But I like looking at large areas of smooth black.
Yeah. You know what? Back pieces are actually, large areas are actually quicker to do because you're not lining. If you look at this piece, I didn't put a single. The only line that you can see in this was the outside of the woman's face.
Right.
But it's so because the back's so big and the line, I use a 5-liner for that. It's really subtle. You can't really tell. And once it heals, it will always be there in a way, like subtly.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I rarely line, to be honest with you. That's my weakness, to be honest with you. Lining. Yeah.
You know what's funny about lining is it's forever hate it. Because you do great a few times and then especially when I'm tattooing it, it's like, everything looks great. It's when I go watch the video back and most of the time my head's in the way, so I can never get a good video, but every once in a while my head's not in the way. And I look at them like, why did the lines not look as good as they did when I was it's weird. Once you look afterwards, you can zoom in on your own work like this.
Yeah.
Like, I suck. I just constantly hate what I'm doing all the time. And
no, but you have to. Because honestly, if you feel like, yeah, that was perfect, that's when your mind starts playing tricks and it tells you that you don't need to improve no more. I don't hate every piece I do, but there's always, like I was telling you and Andy last time, once I do a tattoo, because I only work once a week, I have time to sit there and look at it, and I'll look at it like 3 days out of the week before my next session, and I'll sit there at night after that session. I'll come home, everyone's gone to bed. I'll sit in bed, and I'll be looking at it for about 2 hours, and I'll talk to myself, and I say, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. I could have done this better. So next time I just got to remember to do this different, and that's the only way I found that I've improved more because I've been doing that.
That's it. That's I think I don't know about you, but there's times where everything I've ever posted in my life, I never wanted to post, because I hate, like, I like them, but there's so many things I don't like about them. It almost drives me to never post anything, but I'm getting better at just, whatever, just so even though it's not even you see it, whatnot, just, I don't know. I guess that's something I'm trying to do is just enjoy the process more and enjoy just letting it be what it's going to be. But lining, on the other hand, I feel like you can get better with shading, you can get better motion. You start to have aha moments and you're like, oh, with lining, there's no there are, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I have to.
With lining, it's more like, oh crap, I messed up here.
Yeah, there's room for error even at the peak of fine lining. Even if like what you're doing, you do it all the time. There's still just every bit of. I think there's a little more forgiveness in shading. So I wish I could do more shading and less lining. But I guess we all have wishes and hopes. But
go
ahead.
I think with shading, I think for me, I'm still trying to get it to that perfect, that perfect transition with the perfect blend, like so smooth where you can't see Like
Right.
here, if you look on that helmet there that I did with the gladiator helmet.
Yes.
So if I had to critique this, right, this was a cover up. Um,
Really?
so yeah, if you look at the second, I think you can see a second image on that one. If you, I don't know if you can drag
Okay.
it
Yeah. I always
across.
forget there's two buttons. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
that there was an old ball under there, and so I managed to cover that.
Nice.
But if you look at the helmet, the top of the helmet, like
Yeah.
where the shiny bit, it's got the illusion that there's a shine off it, but obviously that's just his skin tone. That's what we call like negative space, and then the transition into the soft. You see the soft light grey tone. Like it's very subtle, but it's there.
Right.
You know it's there. With
Yes.
your eyes will tell you there's shade, there's a shadow there, but like for people that don't know, they just I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just those little things like that. I was really happy with that tone, but I want to get it like that more consistently. And it's times where you feel like when you're doing it, if you're rushing and stuff like that, you're not going to get that. You seriously you just have to take your time.
Yeah. I think that's the hard thing to do is take your time. At least for me, sometimes definitely a hard thing to do. But I think what you're getting at here too is it's all those small subtleties that add up.
Yeah,
Make it, yeah, and I think that's the hard part. Like, I would like to see my work improve, but when you start to think about things, it's like, man, it's a series of small things that add up
but
to make you go, It's it's like, okay, not quite what I want it to be, but okay.
yeah, but if you fix one small thing at a time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to fix everything at one time. So if I said like yeah, like you pick one thing out of a piece you just did and you didn't like it, and that you
Yes.
didn't like several things, if you didn't like three things, what you could do is just focus on one thing that you can improve for the next session. Just that one thing, and then
Okay.
and when you see it, you'll be like, okay, that's better. And then go back to the other two, and then start approaching that in a different, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it like
No.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I
I
like
think
that
when
a
you
lot.
try and do it all at once, you get it gets confusing, and then you lose track of what you're doing, and that's what I find. Yeah, that's what I find. It's very hard to improve when you're trying to do too many things at once.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and then I also, if I'm sure this is for many other people, if you let yourself get too wrapped around too many things you don't like, then you just almost feel paralyzed. Like you just hate yourself. How
Yeah.
old is your little one, Joey?
Oh, well, the youngest one is 5 months. So, oh no, 6 months. Sorry. So I've got to wait another few years before she goes to school before I can do more tattoos, like more
Man,
regularly.
so you got 4.5 years. Could you imagine what your quality of work will be in 4.5 years if you just even just stay consistent in what you're doing right now?
Yeah,
You've been
yeah.
at it, what you
I
said,
thought
about
about that all the time. I thought about that.
five
I think about
years.
that every day, actually.
He's like, yeah,
Yeah,
actually, I think about that literally all the time.
yeah.
Uh, no,
I think
man.
for me, it's my kids. The reason that's the arrangement we came up with. My partner, she's been a hairdresser for so many years, and she's always
Yeah.
wanted to have her own business, and she had the opportunity to buy her own business.
Wow.
So, and I said, you know what, you do you. That's your dream. My tattooing dream only came out about a few years ago. So I said, you do that. I'm gonna raise the kids,
Oh man.
because I had quite a tough upbringing, and my dad, dad wasn't around, so I thought I can't do that to my kids, and I want them to get our get our morals or whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I could pay someone to look after them, but I don't want that.
I agree with you, man. If somebody in the home can be home with them,
Yeah,
I think that's the
that's it.
best thing possible, when possible. That's cool though, man. I respect that so much, especially the fact that you give your wife that opportunity to chase her dream, and your time's coming. And in the meantime, it's like, holy crap, you have this amazing body of work that you put together. Personally
Cheers.
love it. And before we got on here, Joey was showing me different people he loves their work, strives to be at. And here I look at your work, Joey, and I'm like, well, I would
Oh
like to
look, if you go
your
down
level.
here, where is it? Down to the 5 years progression. You go down a bit more,
Yep.
a little bit, down a bit more. I think
Yep.
it's like a blue background. Down there it is, five
This
years.
one.
So you can see when I started out.
Okay.
So
So
that
this
was
is the
my.
beginning.
So this is when after the year before I quit, so 2016, I said, let's forget it. I'm not doing it. And then a year later, I thought, let me get back to it. And then the dice was my first tattoo on a client.
Really?
That was whip shading. That was that was just all whip shading. And I thought, you know what, I was happy with it at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously,
yeah.
yeah. And then the
First
Buddha was
tattoo.
my second. I think the wolf was
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
my third. That's the one I showed you
Yeah,
when I was telling you about the wolf thing. And then yeah, if you scroll to the next one,
that's
so year on year, I felt like, oh yeah, okay,
never looked
I
good
feel
at
I'm
that.
getting better. So that
Oh,
was
here's 2018.
2018. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
funny. We were
then
just talking about this. Yeah.
you go to the next one again. But these ones I was really happy with at the time. But now I look back at it, I thought, okay, um,
I like a lot. I like these. Very cool.
yeah, this is 2009. So I think this is my year
Getting
when I thought, you know what, I'm getting better at this, and I'm really enjoying it now. Well, especially when I did it Pennywise, that's still one of my favorites to this day.
Oh
And I
man, I
was
think
only
that was one of
tattooing
the first ones you
for
sent in, man.
2 years. I think it was 2 years at that point, that Pennywise. So I was really happy with that. And even the samurai as well, I was really proud of that one because that one took me about 7.5 hours, but the
Wow,
details took so long. And yeah,
wow.
I'm quite slow tattoo artist. So
But that's okay. I guess
no, yeah, I know,
I'm
yeah,
trying to accept the fact that that's okay, and in fact, I should be slower.
yeah.
And
Speed doesn't mean that. I think a lot of people in here probably watch loads of well, people that are aspiring to be a tattoo artist. They watch loads of videos. So much. There's so many videos out there, and people. I'm sure they've seen, like I was saying before, Oliver Air.
mm-hmm,
He's a very good tattoo artist, and he tattoos
mm-hmm.
very quick. And
Yeah,
I
very
feel like there's a lot of artists out there that try and be as quick as him, and
okay.
that's where they go wrong. Because he can do that and make his work look good, but a lot of artists will try and replicate that, and their work will not look nowhere near as nice. But yeah, I'll take yeah, me I'll take like three times the amount of time that Oliver takes to do his pieces. Well, obviously, I'm not comparing myself to him. I'm just saying that time wise.
No, I think it's smart to accept the fact that some people are fast
Yeah,
and they can execute at a level they're fine with or that they want
yeah,
to be at. Where, yeah, I think a lot of people can look at other people and think, man, I'm just not that fast. Why am I not that fast? It's okay. And in
it's not.
fact, like I said, I need to slow. I think I need to slow down because clients will push you faster. They
Oh
want things
yeah,
to be done faster. You feel a pressure to be done faster. And for me, in my opinion, if that's all, if only this is the weird part. If you're only trying to please your clients, they're actually not too hard to please, in my opinion.
no.
If you're trying to please yourself, that's the hard part. And I find that for me, I'm giving too much to the client, like we talked about, and
Yeah,
allowing them to they're not directly dictating it, but I do find that I'm speeding up to please them, which makes in the end I'm not happy, right? I'm not pleasing myself, which I understand there's a balance there, which is
yeah.
I'll get off that one, but yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Well,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Is there another? There's another
Yeah,
click here.
no,
Let's go
there's
to
two more.
2020.
There's two more.
Oh man,
And then that's 2020. I think
nice.
the first one with the geisha that took 10 hours.
Wow,
But she was 6 foot. She's 6'1", I think.
that's on a
She's
leg,
got
right?
really yeah. No, that's a calf.
Yeah.
She's really tall and she's got quite a big leg. So that took yeah, about 10 hours. But I think she took a break every half an hour to smoke a spliff,
Well, so
smoke some
that
weed
so did it take 10 hours with the breaks, or was it like
with
10
the
hours
breaks. Yeah, I think
with the breaks?
she probably took like 15 breaks in all. Yeah,
Well, sometimes they're nice, but when they get a bit
yeah,
excessive, say, all right,
yeah, yeah.
I want to get some tattooing done here. Wow. What time do you normally start on your if you're tattooing?
I start early. I start as early as the client can do.
It's the best.
There's sometimes I'll do. I had a client before where they'll do at 5 a.m. in the morning.
What?
Yeah, because they what they want to do is have a day to recover, and they want to spend time with their family in the afternoon because they got plans. So I'll say
Wow.
if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. So I'll wake up at 3:30 a.m. or 4 a.m., have my coffee, whatever, and then get ready to tattoo. Really,
Wow. That's hey man, kudos to you.
yeah,
I think for me, I think the earliest I
yeah,
will get going is like 8 a.m. So like
yeah.
I
But
like
it's 1 day a
I like to
week,
go
so
through a
yeah,
whole process. I come, get in the shop, get the music going, get this going, start putting my equipment together to be ready at 5 a.m. at the pace I get started, like moving when I walk into the shop, I'd have to get in here like an hour and a half before that.
Yeah.
But I get it though. I get in fact, what I hate though is later tattoos. I don't like tattooing later in the day.
Yeah, I don't like that
I
either.
want to wake up, feel motivated,
Yeah.
do this thing, and I'll do it all night long. Well, that sounds weird. I'll tattoo all day long into the evening, but yeah, starting in the evenings never. As we look at 2021 here, I do have a question now.
Yeah.
Have you ever dabbled in color?
I have done one piece with color ever.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you class opaques as color.
Sure, why not?
But yeah, if you go back to the page, there's one piece where my client I've tattooed him from the start, and he wanted this war memorial piece with red poppies. In the UK, we have it's like a memorial thing with red poppies. I don't know if you know anything about that. Yeah, if you go back to the scroll up, I believe.
Okay.
A bit more. No, down. I think we went past it. Sorry.
Nope, no problem.
There's the one with the soldier. Yeah, there. The one with the soldiers.
Right here.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the red poppies.
I do. Yeah, out here. Oh, okay.
And then with the smoke as well. Yeah. I use opaque in the smoke as well, just to create some different kind of contrast. But if you scroll to the next one, you can probably see the red poppies a bit more.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
So that was, for me, that was scary, to be honest with you. Even though it was so small, I was actually really nervous about doing it. But then I just said to myself, packing color is like packing black, and I can pack black. So I thought, whatever, let's give it a go and see what happens.
Wasn't too bad, huh?
Yeah, it came out all right. I mean, like, color doesn't appeal to me. I feel like color's okay if you get it saturated well and it heals nice, then it looks nice. There's some just wicked like color artists out there, but I feel like for me, I don't know. I've seen color tattoos fade, and some of them look horrible, and
yes,
and even color mixing as well. I don't understand how they mix colors. I don't understand anything about that.
Like I talked about before, if I could, and again, it's not because great at it or anything, but I would prefer to do black and gray. It's easier on my brain to process.
Yeah, I get it.
It's more enjoyable. Color, it takes so much more out of me because it's not in my wheelhouse. Like, I forced it to be because, for me, building a clientele, if I waited around for somebody who wanted what I wanted to do at the time, I'd probably still been waiting, so
yeah,
you take a little bit of all of it, but color, I'm not a fan of it.
Color
I
a
enjoy
lot
it when it's done, but then when it heals, it dulls. If it's not packed perfectly in some spots, you get little openings, and I don't know. I like people to walk away with the perfect tattoo, and not to say that you can't. There's definitely those who can one shot, one kill, get it done. And some of them are, but if I see them and the person's happy with it, but I still see, like holidays and stuff, I feel forced to like come back in, I want this to be right. And it's very rare that it happens in a black and gray piece, but in color pieces, more often than not for me anyhow. So what got you into tattooing though, Joey?
Well, I've got really bad tattoos on my arms, and these were guys that came to my house to do them, and I remember I paid them a couple of hundred, and this was like 15, 20 years. I'm 36, so about 15, 20 years ago. No, about 18 years ago actually. And when I got them done, I was like, at the time, when you're young and you get a tattoo, you don't know anything about tattoos, so you think, it looks cool. And then when you get a bit older, you're like, oh crap, this looks like crap. Do you know what I mean? And
right. Oh, absolutely.
And I thought I didn't think nothing of it then, but before my son was born, who's 7.5 now, a year before that, we both quit our jobs and went traveling across Southeast Asia for a year.
Wow.
And it was there when I discovered that. Well, I said to my partner, I want to do this. I want a tattoo because I got a tattoo out there and it wasn't great, and they charged quite a bit. And I said, I can do what he did because I could do that.
Right.
And then that's when I came back and I bought a cheap machine, applied it on fake skin, and it came out horrible. And I said, I'm done. And then I went back to it, and then just kept watching videos like yours, like your tip videos. There's so many, like. There wasn't that many, but there was a few, and you can learn quite a lot. I'm quite I'm like a sponge in it. So if I watch something, it will register in my head and I can apply it.
Right.
I'm a visual learner, so if I see it, I'll apply it, and yeah, that's how I learn anyway.
Cool. That's cool, and that's how you literally watch somebody do work and thought, you know, many people, and a few people I've talked to that have been the same thing.
Yeah.
The person I talked to, they were actually an instructor, like tattoo instructor out in Oregon somewhere. And I said, you know, asked them, how'd you get in tattoo? He's like, well, me and my daughter went and got tattoos, and we're kind of like, it could have been better. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I remember there was, when I was getting tattooed, just tangent, probably about the same time you were then, about the same age. I didn't care who tattooed me. It was like, it was a tattoo shop, people tattooed in there. Everybody was equal opportunity as a customer. I mean, I come to find, just some jacked up tattoos. And I thought that, you know, some of them I gave them more credit than they needed because they were now permanently on your body. And you're like, it's decent, but no, man. Also, tattooing has evolved so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's different. I think it's not as painful as it used to be back then. Back then, there was just coil machines on me, and oh man,
the smell of green soap and coil machines.
Oh man, they hurt so much.
Would you mind, Joey, critiquing some of my tattoos for me?
Yeah,
I would love to have your opinion on some stuff, and I want to bring up the wolf because we were talking about it before, and I thought that was a great.
Yeah.
I have no problem letting people see my deficiencies and learning from them. So here, this was the one we were talking about originally, and so the fur, it feels very rigid.
You know what? I'll tell you what I like. Yeah, I like how you saturated the eye. Is really well saturated that way. I think that's one of your strengths.
White. That's a really
you
good
can
white.
Saturate very good. You can actually saturate very good. I've seen when I was watching your live. I thought that. I mean, that video of that tutorial. I thought you can saturate very good, and you can do it very quick as well. Which I thought, you know, that's a good thing to have. And also the nose, the teeth and the nose, the top bit, the top of the snout. If you cover up the rest of the face and just look at the snout, that's done very nice.
Okay.
I think what I was telling you was at the bottom where you just cut it off, unless you were planning on adding something to the bottom of that. I don't know.
The bottom, actually, no. The top, there might be more going on up here, but the bottom, no. So that could have been what you were saying, faded out.
Yeah, so you could have feathered out the fur. You could actually just brought some of the fur down and feathered it out and faded it out to really light tone where it just disappears into the ankle, and then that would have given it a more fuller look.
Yeah.
And when I was watching your video, you was telling, I think you were saying that you're looking at the reference and there's little spots and dots in the hair that you was trying to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't, with fur and hair, you don't need to do that. You actually fur and hair is free flowing, forgiving. You can actually make it up. You don't have to go by the reference.
Okay.
So yeah, the fur and hair. And I think when you was doing the fur, so the fur's going down that way.
Yeah.
Your mag is going up against the fur, so you're not creating the individual strokes of hair going down. So what I was telling you was just if you turn it up slightly and even angle it just a little bit, you can drag it down. But if you drag it down in a straight line, what happens is you're going to create lines, right?
Right.
But if you turn your mag just a bit slightly, even if it's like you was using a 15 mag, I believe, when you was doing that. If you turned it at an angle just like that a little bit and went down in that same direction, it would have opened you up to maybe like 4 different lines rather than turning it that way and having 15 different lines. So if you turn it just at a slight angle and you just brush it down gently with a light tone, you see that there's starting to be like different layers of different individual hairs that you can start to build up.
Yeah, which
and that's what you could have done, because
so would you have interpreted the fur a bit? Because you sent me those photos showing when we were talking about the fur, and it just seems so flowy and fluffy. Like I could touch it. Where this feels very stiff and rigid. And
you could have. I think the way I would have approached it, like I said, I would have tapered down from the bottom, so started really light and then build my way up. I think you started with the dark tones first, which is fine. But it's about tapering the dark out. If you look at the first layer, it looks like there's 3 layers of fur on neck, right? So the top layer, you create like a dark line.
Yes, right. Real hard lined.
Yeah, you could have. So instead of just that hard line, you could have faded that dark line out and downwards. So
Gotcha.
and then it gets lighter to the next layer, and then you do the same thing. And yeah, that's how I would have did it. And
Okay.
even with the light areas in the fur as well, so in the middle section, there's like skin tone. I think with hair and fur, you don't need to try and create that white hairs or the light hairs. You just what I did. Oh, how do I explain it? You would so say my hair right now, right? If I have long hair, sometimes you see like a shine through it, right?
Yeah.
What you do is you try and get some of the individual hairs through the shine, and then if you look at it again, you'll see where there's actually shadow in the shine as well. So you could just shade it in. So with those light areas in the middle, you could actually just shaded those light areas in so that it's not so prominent.
Okay.
Because it looks like there's like individual white blocks of hair sticking out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. And I even probably put more of that in there
Yeah.
where it probably wasn't meant to be. And on a tangent here, I feel like I went from not knowing what to do with white to now I put too much white in tattoos. And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know when to stop because either I don't want it or I do want it. And then if I do want it, I tend to just put it everywhere where
Yeah,
there's light
that's
tones, you know?
yeah, that's something that I did as well at the beginning. But now I just put white where there's supposed to be white, like teeth and eyes
Yeah.
and parts of you see his mouth, right? You see the black line around his mouth.
Yeah.
Normally it's wet and dribbly. You know how dogs dribble
Mm,
and stuff. They normally have like
yeah.
dots of white dribble and it's supposed to glisten a little bit.
Glistening,
Like
yeah.
that's probably the only places I would have put the white, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But yeah, just I think with the fur at the bottom, it just looks like there's individual blocks of hair rather than strands of hair. Like I
Yeah,
don't know if
that's
you
how it
go,
feels too. It feels very blocky.
yeah, and also and obviously I don't know if that's finished, if that's the finished product, or you're adding something above that. But
There's gonna be a bit more. He's not sure. More animal stuff,
yeah,
which
yeah,
has been something that is been one of the hardest things. I don't know. Maybe my brain is really hard to wrap around hair and all these little things that I feel overwhelmed trying to put in. And it's like, my God, how do I capture every one of these
yeah,
things?
yeah.
So it
You
felt really
don't
good when you
with
said
hair. Don't
just
don't don't try and capture it as you see it. Just
okay,
get what you want. Main thing you want to do is get the flow of hair in the same direction. But
okay.
hair, it doesn't have to look like the reference. It just has to look like hair, if you
I,
know what I mean.
I like that. I like that
Yeah.
advice
So
because I definitely, when I was done, felt like I had just spent so much time, and I don't know, I just felt kind of left empty a bit at the end, and I
yeah,
just couldn't figure out what did I do? Like, why is it not? Well, I know for one, like you said, there's definitely some hard lines in there that I really wish weren't in there. But
yeah. Because if you look at
yeah,
for
go ahead.
before yeah, and also the top of the head and underneath the mouth, because the background it just looks like. It looks like, if anything, it looks like a sticker has been stuck on, and it just that's it. Whereas if you
Yeah,
created that soft shade, like one drop, even two drops, that soft
yes,
shade,
two, yes,
just
one,
around the mouth and the head, just to create that soft background,
yeah.
it would have made it a lot more three dimensional. Give it more depth.
It feels kind of flat right now. Then
It's a bit, it's a little bit flat, yeah.
okay,
But yeah,
okay.
that soft background, even with a negative space moon in the back, so
I
you could
know.
have
I'm
done
looking
it,
at it now, thinking the same thing. He wants a
yeah,
snake somewhere in there, so not
yeah.
sure, but that would be cool.
Yeah. So, because when you do the snake, what would you do to merge the two together? You fill in that gap anyway. You probably shade it in, right?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think if you was to do a snake above that, how would you bring the two pieces together? You would fill that gap anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would have to. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
definitely have to. And this one's gonna be a tricky one because there's another piece we put on his thigh, and we're kind of putting some bigger pieces. It's weird how some clients want to work things where sometimes you can, if they approach you for an entire leg sleeve or an entire this, you can really lay it out. But you have
yeah,
some
yeah,
people that, even though you kind of mention that, they kind of go, "This is what I like." Yeah, all right, we can do that. And then I was thinking about putting this down there, so they kind of dictate. And I'm not one to tell them like, "Hey, look, we need a cohesive idea throughout this whole thing." They might quit at any given time if that's what
yeah,
you want. But in their brain, they're constantly coming up with other ideas that you're trying to sit in there thinking, All right. Yeah, I think I could probably make that work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I can. All right. We could. So you end up doing the best you can sometimes. So I'm unsure exactly what's to come, but I convinced them to let me put this little bit of like just something behind them. Just this, but of course it's not really doing a lot for it.
yeah.
But mainly because I didn't want
I
to put an
think
outline around it.
I think the top half. I think the top half it looks nice.
Okay.
So where the white bit is on these, just around his cheeks, and then the snout and then the eyes, I think that bit's nice. I
Okay.
think where you went a bit off was the fur at the bottom half. I'd say like I said, just taper out the bottom to make it disappear into his ankle. And then with the furs, like I said, you I think you was following the reference too much. With hair and fur,
Yeah.
you don't actually need to do it as you see it. Just as
In
long as
that
you get
top.
the tones in there, the
Yeah.
tones is if you get the tones in right, it doesn't matter which way. It doesn't matter that you didn't copy the reference to the T, if you know what I mean.
And
Like if
looking at this
you,
now, I know exactly where I could have bumped the contrast up down here too at the bottom
yeah,
and pumped in a lot more black, left a lot more open skin, and it would have
yeah,
felt that much better. And I also where I feel like I have my biggest failure for me in this piece, and the client, somebody asked, like, I hope the client loves it because I do. I'm like, no, they totally love the tattoo.
yeah,
I just see things and appreciate people who can point stuff out to me. Now I'm moving the mouse around, but apparently you can't see that. Okay, so in that you see that black jagged spot, the main
yeah,
line that's in the base. Well, when I was doing that area, I wasn't. Funny enough, you're working at it, but it was not focused on any sort of angle of the way
yeah,
things were going. At the bottom layers, okay, there's some movement, there's some flow, and I
yeah,
get up here and everything's straight up and down. To me, that's what bugs me the most. And after looking at the reference even more after I talked to you and whatnot, I thought if I could have just pumped black in this and done less is more, I think we would have been better off. And
yeah.
I think in the end, this one's going to be a real good learning experience, and it has been so far because
Yeah.
it
That's the only way you're going to improve if you take it on board what you know you could have done better on, and you apply that to the next one. Just you'll see an improvement as long as you really apply it. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I like that idea of not trying to tattoo all the fur you see and
You,
all because fur scares me, man. It really does. Like
yeah,
you're like,
it's
whew.
hair. If you look at any tattoo artist's work, any hair or fur, if you look at it compared to the reference image they probably used, not one hair is exactly the same. What you see is the direction of the hair is the same,
Yeah,
and the way they've textured it in looks really nice. But other than that, you don't have to match the hair. Hair is not important for me. When you do animals or faces, the most important thing is the eyes. The eyes for me, the eyes is probably the most
yes.
important thing in any reference, because the eyes give it life, gives it soul.
And people
If
can
you know
tell
what I
when
mean.
the eyes aren't right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
And
someone said, can they
yeah,
see the reference image from what Joey's talking about? So you know that wolf one I sent you earlier. I don't know if you can
yeah.
check. That was,
I can go over to your Instagram real quick and look. Is it on there?
yeah, I just want to show this person.
Yes.
Yeah, if you
So,
go, it's on my Instagram. Yeah.
all right, I'll let them know. Take a mental picture here, mainly this bottom section, because we're gonna go look at. Let me drop this out and
Who
jump over
said
to
that?
yours.
Can Mr. Mason?
Let's see. Let me jump over to Joey. There we go. Guys, I hope that you guys go check out. I know there's like 38 people. It's not a ton of people here, but hopefully
Second
you guys go
emotion. I really want to
check
hear
out
what
Joey's
Joey has to
Instagram
say
page.
about the Asian girl. What Asian girl?
Maybe the the Gation or the most recent one on your page.
Oh, okay.
Let me find which. Okay, let me pull yours back. Now I'll show it to you
We'll
on my.
go back to your one in a minute. I just wanted to show, just answer this person's question. If you go down, this is one of my earlier pieces. So
Is it down a little ways?
down, yeah, it's quite far down. Wait 1 second. Just stop right there. You see the wolf one with Leonidas?
Yep, right here.
Yeah. So if you go to the right image, I did a close up of the
Oh
fur.
wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I didn't copy the image. What I've done was I put the dark in where it's supposed to be dark, and I used the side of the mag. So the hair's going that way. What I did was I used the side of a 7 mag, I believe it was, and I just brushed it out. So feathered it out from where the line meets the white, for example. I'll start in there, and then I'll brush it out, like whip it out with the side of a mag. With a the solid.
Did you have that slight angle bit you was talking about? Just
Yeah,
slight.
So
Nice.
slight angled, yeah. Because if you do it too straight, what you're gonna do is get a straight single line. You
Yeah,
know, like when
right.
you turn a mag to the side, you get a straight single. If you turn it just a slight angle, you can get more texture in. And yeah, and even with the light thirds as well, I'd use a one drop system there, and I'll just get it in. And if you can't see it at first, you build up layers. I think that's the trick with black and grey is when you see people trying to do realism, they go in too dark too soon.
Okay.
And I was explaining to you, like when you want to build up, when you want to get a certain tone. So if you wanted to get a mid tone, right, I wouldn't go straight in with a mid tone, because what's
Okay.
going to happen is you'll go in and it's not perfectly saturated, and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to give it another pass with the same tone. And what you've done is you've added another layer. So now that mid tone has become a dark tone. So what
Okay.
I would have done is went with one tone lighter, went in with that, have a look at it and think, okay, that can be a little bit darker to match the reference. Then I'll go in with that same lighter tone again, and you've added another layer. So now it's gotten a little bit darker.
Right.
And then you could do it again if you need, if it's still not dark enough. And that's what black and grey, like realism for me is building up the grey tones without
Yeah.
just going in straight in with the tone, without going straight in with the tone that you see. Unless it's a solid black on the reference, you go in with solid black. That's fine.
Now, question for you though, when it comes to that, now, let's say you're going in with that 2-drop or whatnot, right?
Yeah,
And you're laying it in there. You're just putting your first layer in. Okay, let's say we're doing a cheek, right? And you're kind of shaping it. You're putting that real, using that light tone for me, anyhow,
yeah,
mapping that out, right?
yeah.
And you're okay, a little darker here. At what point do you say, all right, I'm going to jump up to like 5-drop here or 10? At what point because you build up that one layer a bit and then realize that I need a darker tone,
Yeah,
right? Or do you just keep layering and layering until that light tone becomes
no,
something
because
you
what
want?
happens if you do that too much, you're gonna damage the skin, and you're gonna
Yeah,
irritate the skin more, right?
yeah,
So if I wouldn't go from a 1-drop or a 2-drop to a 5-drop. I'd go from a 2-drop to the next one up, basically. Yeah.
yeah.
So if I feel like, you know what, it could just use a little bit more, then I would add it in. But it's about trying to transition from that tone to the next tone to the next tone, which is
Okay.
what I struggled with at the beginning, and I worked really hard to try and get that transition. And that's when you build it up. So normally I'll probably go in with a dark tone, and
Yeah,
then I'll feather it out until it's a bit lighter. Then I'll go in with a slightly lighter tone. Then I would start
yeah.
feathering out from the last shade and try feathering out until it gets light as possible,
Right.
until I'm happy with the tone.
Okay.
That's the best way I can explain it.
No, I get that. It makes sense to me for sure. And yeah, that was my one question. I was like, I hope you're not just building it. Okay, but somebody did it. Excuse the heck out of me, man. They wanted, me, I want to know your gray wash. Do you make your own? You have your own drop system?
Yeah, I make my own. I use dynamic triple black for my solid black,
Yeah,
and I use dynamic black for my other 4. I have five tones, so I have
black and 4 caps.
one. Yeah, black 4 caps.
That's what I do too.
The dark. The fourth tone is the dark. The second darkest one is 3/4.
Yeah,
But I'm actually thinking about changing it now to 4 caps and changing that second one instead of 3/4, maybe a half cap. Because what I'll do is to get that same tone as a 3/4 cap, I'll probably just put in one layer and then put in a second layer to get
yeah.
it as dark. That's what would happen as well. So it would get darker once you apply that second layer on top. So I'm thinking I'm going to try that soon. Then I'll have I'll have a 3/4, then a half, then just fill enough to fill the bottom of the second to last one, the bottom of the
Yeah.
cap, and then the last cap with just 1 drop. That would be my lightest tone. That would be like the tone where you build it in, you look at it, you wipe it away, and
No.
you can't see nothing. But I know
Right.
it's going in. So what I'll do
Right.
is I'll pass it again, and I'll normally give it about 3 passes with a lighter tone, And a lot of people will get frustrated and say like it's not going in. And so that's when they make the mistake of going in with the darker tone.
Gets way too dark.
Yeah, that's when you just got to be patient and just build up the layers, build it up, build it up, build it up. Don't rush in with a dark tone, because that's what I used to do, and it didn't come out how I liked it. It like the look wasn't appealing to me, if you know what I mean.
Right. No. And it gives you a little. I don't know. I do like starting with the lighter tone and going up, but I do find sometimes once I get a feel for maybe a tattoo, I think that it's like, oh, okay, I got a feel for how ink's going in skin and whatnot. I will get a little bit more direct. I'll go
Yeah,
into the tone I really think I should be using. But like you allude to, what I like is that your go-to thing is to go lighter, no matter what. I want to use, let's say, that I don't know, 20%, but I'm going to go to these are just hypothetical numbers, obviously. 10% first, get that in there, then move up to the tone you want to be at. Now, do you
yeah,
do
I do
that
that with
style
all
for
my.
almost everything? It's like, I know I should probably be in here with the 5, but I'm going to jump in here with my 1 or 2,
Yeah,
map
because
this out,
you
build this.
wanna you kind of want to build it up. You want to see as well, because you think sometimes you look at the reference image, you be like, okay, that looks like a 2. Yeah, it could be even a 3 or 4, but you want to say, okay, you want to build up to a 4. So you would start with a 2, and then you'd add another layer. Then it would look like a 3. Then you add another layer. Then it would look like a 4. Like you pass it about 2, 3 times. Obviously, you don't want to keep going over and over and
Right.
over and over it. But you got to be patient as well, because when you go over with a really light tone as well, what happens is the skin will go red,
Mhm.
and you won't see the tone because the redness comes out over the tone. But
Right.
once it heals, you just gotta trust the process. And once it heals, or the skin comes down later on in the tattoo, you'll see that tone come out more. And that's a mistake I made when I started. Is I was hammering the light tone. I was like, this is not even doing anything. So let
Yeah.
me just keep working in, see what happens. And then I'm okay. Let me just go straight to the next dark tone, and then I'll punch it in. And then once that calmed down a bit, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's too dark.
Right. I think that was one of the hardest things to figure out was when I would watch other people tattoo and they'd be using light tones
Yeah,
and you're like trying to see through the madness, but I guess that comes with experience because they know what's happening. It's going in. Even now, it's the same now. And especially you ever have clients look over while you're tattooing, and
yeah,
I
I
know
find
their
that
brain's
so
going,
annoying.
dude, you didn't even put it. Are you stupid? You did it two
Yeah, yeah,
times,
yeah,
nothing went in. They don't say anything, but you know what they're thinking, or you
yeah,
hate
yeah,
me,
yeah,
don't you? But what I like to do is move along. It's just I feel like I go up and down a lot
yeah,
because
yeah.
you might put that in down there, but then I have to walk away from it for a little while. Not long, I'd say like 5-10 minutes tops, and then you can really start to see that shade you put in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
It
it. It's
calms
just you
down.
just have to be the patience, because the redness will overshadow that light tone, and
Hmm.
until that redness calms down, that's when you see it come through. And that's a mistake you don't want to make. Is just don't rush to get that tone in just because you think it's not there when it's there. You just gotta be patient. Just build up the tones. Don't. That's like black and grey. Just building up layers and layers is that's literally how you build. Yeah, that's how you get soft blends. So you build up the layers and just don't go in with the darkest tone, because you think that's what the tone is. Because what's gonna happen is you might not get it perfectly shaded or smooth on the first pass.
Yeah.
So you might go in again, and that's when you mess up. Unless you can get it really good on the first pass, like Oliver Air, he'll go in with a dark tone.
Uh-huh.
He might build up 1 or 2 layers, but most times he'll go in with tone of what he thinks. But he's so good at getting the ink into the skin that he just gives it one smooth pass, and then he'll move on to the next part of the tattoo, and that's a really hard thing to do.
Right.
So you can learn from him, but don't try and replicate other artists if you're not experienced enough. If you know what I mean.
Right.
Like
Yeah. And
you got.
I think at a certain point you have to be careful. Maybe it's not completely true, but to me, to some degree, I think at some point you watch less of what people are doing so that you can find what works for you a bit more.
Yeah,
At least for me, for a while there, I just had to, um, because then you tend to do what other people are doing more than you probably should do. So for me, I think it goes in waves where I got to like seclude myself and then include myself and go out and maybe watch some. There's so many people making videos now; it's insane.
yeah,
So you can watch like people tattooing anytime. and so I will, and I'll take stuff away from it and whatnot. But sometimes I feel like, well, I don't want to exactly tattoo identical to that person, but
Yeah,
I think everybody tattoos differently, no matter what. You know what I
everyone,
mean? Like, no
everyone.
matter who you watch, you naturally are just gonna make marks in the skin. How you make marks in the
Yeah,
skin, definitely. Well, let me go ahead and find. I'm gonna jump over. Let me see if I can find some other black and gray work on my page. I just wanted to bring up
yeah,
that
yeah,
one
yeah.
because I thought it was just a good. We were talking about it before, and I figured that it would definitely help maybe some other people because I hate fur, and I feel so relieved now. Just those few words you said about you don't have to put every hair. Just give it the feeling. Now I'm gonna go and try to do that and be mad because I'm like, damn, it didn't work. And I know it
Like your
takes
beard. I'm looking
time.
at your beard, right?
Yeah,
If I was to tattoo your beard right now, I would get the darkest parts in the with the little bit. You see that where the beard that separates on the dark side, just a little tiny dark bit in the middle. Yeah, right where you just touched it in the
yeah,
middle.
yeah.
I would tattoo that bit first. Then I would tattoo the dark part on the right,
Okay,
and then in the middle, right where just underneath your chin, you got one like dark gap
like
going
right
through there. Yeah,
there.
I'll
Yeah.
go in with my second to lightest tone there. And then just around the tattoo, I might go with a liner and just do small bits of shading where I feel like it needs to be pronounced. But then I think the secret to doing like realism and hair or anything like that, you got to imagine the light source.
Okay.
So your face right now, your light's hitting you from. Oh, I'm pointing. I don't know if that way. Yeah, that way.
Yeah,
Right.
it's all flipped here. It's from but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so yeah,
So you any piece you do, you just look. You got to imagine the light source is hitting you from somewhere. So if I was tapping my face, the
yeah.
light source is hitting me on this side. So this side's got to be naturally darker when I shade. So I'll go in with darker tones here, but here I'll go in with probably my second to lightest tone, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So that's what
Yeah.
you got to imagine, and that creates that more 3D look. And also another tip: if you're tattooing anything, a person or an animal, the foreground of my face. If like a wolf, for example, if I'm doing a wolf looking straight ahead,
Yeah.
I would make sure I get the eyes in there to give it
Mhm.
like I was telling you to give it more life. But the other important thing is the front teeth and the snout. It's got to be. I'll clean the edges with a liner to make it more
Prominent.
focused, and
Okay.
then what I'll do is with the back of the head and the fur, I'll use a mag and do really soft edges on that. So what it gives you the illusion. If you hold up your hand and you look at your hand,
Yeah.
if you look at your hand's in focus, and
Everything
everything
shines
around your
forward.
hand is soft or blurred.
Yeah.
It's the same as a tattoo.
It's such an
So
amazing trick when you see it in tattoo. And you did
yeah,
it in your 2021. We didn't get to
is it the bow, the crossbow?
I don't know. Okay, I got to go back to your thing. I know I was going to look at something here, but I want to jump back over there real quick, Joey, because I saw it and I thought, boy, that is really cool. It was in the
Someone said tattoo your beard.
tattoo. Yeah, that'll be the. We'll see that on the next one. It'll be like a bunch of photos, tattoos of my beard. I'm like, oh goodness me. Here, this the animal here, this back blurred. Did you intentionally? Did you make that blur
Where, which one? On the
on
bottom
the
of
far
the
left?
lion. Oh no, that was a tattoo that was still healing. It was really scabby, so I blurred it out.
Okay, okay. 'Cause we were
No,
looking at it, I thought, wow, that the separation was odd, but I thought, wow, what a blurred background.
if
I don't know
you
how
go
you
to
made it that.
the Jesus one,
Oh, okay. Let me go back
I'll
there.
give you an example. Let's go up to the top. I think.
Oh,
No,
just go
no,
to the
yeah.
Jesus one. Huh?
Even that
Oh, oh, there he
even
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
there Jesus one. So if you look at this, right, what's happened is if you look at it carefully, you can see what's in focus. What's the most focused part to you? I would say the
Um,
beard.
it's the most crisp. It has the most like
Yeah,
fine-knighted pieces of it. The hands are
yeah,
soft. Even the face, even the eyes are a
yeah.
bit
So
softer.
what I did was I made the beard. I cleaned the edges up with a liner, and even the nose because the nose comes out. It's in the foreground, right? So my hand right now is in focus, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then my face will be blurred out. And then what I done was so because the face is in focus, what I did was I blurred the hand a bit. So how you do that is you go in with a mag rather than a liner to do the edges. So if you look at the hand, around the outside of the hand is soft edge. So it creates a look of you're looking somewhere in
Right.
the background, which is in focus, and everything in your foreground is now blurred. And if you know what I mean, even the top of the hair, you see the top of the hair. I
Yeah,
use a mag to do to create that soft edge to because the back of the hair is in the back. It
right.
will be out of focus. Do you know what I mean? So you got to find
Question:
what you want in focus.
when you were talking about, let's take the hands for instance, when you said you would go in with a mag vice aligner, are you taking your mag on its side? Or are you
Yeah,
bringing using
on
it
my side.
and you're just kind of, because obviously you can create a line with a mag. You obviously know that. So I'm imagining you're kind of being gentle with it. You're not like,
Yeah, so if you use a bigger mag, right, like a 15 mag,
yeah,
you know, I only use curved mags, so you could
me
use
too.
the curve on
Gotcha.
the end,
Okay.
right? But what if you go in if you want it to be a bit more cleaner
Mm-hmm.
and not too sharp, but not too soft, you can go in with a smaller mag, like a 7 curve mag or a 9 curve mag, and then use the corner of that, so you get a tighter, a little bit more crisper line. The bigger the mag, the softer the edge will be.
Right. Yes,
You
because
know
you
what
have
I
more
mean?
curve
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So that will be the top of the
Okay.
hand, for example, and then my mag will be like this, and I'll just I'll just feather it in like I don't know. I think that's a yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'll pendulum it in. Yeah, pendulum.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, that's I was interested because you said, what, the side of a mag. And so the real thing here is too is just trying not to give it any sort of solid structure. And obviously, the further back something goes, the more the less hard lined, or the more blurred it will become. The more loose you can be with it, I suppose, which
Yeah,
is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And again, if you it, it works here though, and if I really look at the beard and it
it's in focus,
a
isn't it? You
few,
can
yeah,
see that.
and
It's,
really there's a few black spots like very directly put in there.
yeah, because
And
on the reference it's solid black, so I put those in
really,
on purpose. Even like the forehead, you see the forehead.
yeah,
There's a that was my one drop. So you can see it's red.
yes,
I brushed it in and they couldn't see anything. I wiped it when I was like, okay, so I'll give it another layer and I
uh-huh,
couldn't see anything. I give it, and then that's when I give it a third layer, and then I could start noticing a tiny hint of grey. And then once it's healed, he sent me the picture. I don't know where it is, but you could see it. You can actually
nice.
see the very subtle light tone,
I love
especially when
black
it
and
heals. It
gray
gets
teal, man.
lighter as well.
I love black and gray teal. Everything looks good, fresh, and we get so used to seeing black. Well, all tattoos, but in this case, we're talking about black and gray work. We get so used to seeing it fresh all the time. Oh, I
Yeah,
truly love seeing it healed. While it doesn't
yeah,
as great in photos, it doesn't have the same volume that
yeah,
fresh does. But when you see a black and gray piece living in the person's skin, like it becomes like
yeah,
part of it's really cool. And when you last time you see those tattoos when they leave, they have that red hue to them. That's how you
yeah,
remember them.
yeah,
So when you see them healed, you're like, oh shit, look at that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I just like it rare. And then on top of the one, in my opinion, the thing I love the most about black and gray or tattooing in general in some regards is that things in black and gray smooth out even more as they heal.
Yeah,
So there's even
exactly.
more forgiveness in it than,
Yeah,
I was like, well, I don't remember it being that soft, but when it heals
yeah.
out, it's a bit, even a bit softer. Um, all right, let me jump over here real quick. Let me, bam, bam, drop this
Do you
down real
see
quick.
anything you think? Someone said, if Joey, if you were to critique your own work, do you see anything I could pick? I could critique every piece that I've done. I could do it now, but obviously I wouldn't go through that. But yeah, I've already. I look at every piece that I do, and I've already picked out. Like everyone voted last week. You know the samurai girl.
Yeah.
There's a bit on the helmet that I wasn't happy with. I could have done that better.
Did
So
it drive
yeah,
you nuts? Did you assume like
it
everyone's
still
gonna see
drives me
this and
nuts
they're
now.
gonna
But
hate me?
no, it still drives me a bit mad now when I look at it. But I can go. I'm finishing that sleeve off in January, so I'm gonna go back and hit that spot again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was trying to see anything that might be worth critiquing here.
Do you mind if I just quickly go toilet? Just bear with me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, guys, hey, thanks for hanging out with myself and Joey. I just had the opportunity to talk to him for a while. I was going to ask him some questions about my work, see if he could give me some pointers and whatnot. And I thought, well, why if I'm going to spend some time talking to another person, I might as well go live and share some of that with you guys. So the few of you guys that are here and gals, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope that you're getting something out of it. I'm asking questions that I want to know. I'm asking things that I want to know. So I am sorry if you have different thoughts or different things you want to know or whatever. Put those in the chat so we can get to them. Because if not, I'm just going to keep asking. I'm going to find tattoos that I wish were better, or I wish that I want somebody to tell me about them. What do you think? 'Cause I see things in them. What do you see? And I'm going to just pick through my black and gray stuff. Nothing really in color, and see what Joey thinks. Let's see anything recent that I have, which I don't really have a ton of recent stuff, but I'm gonna get something pulled up here. But nonetheless, guys, thanks for being here. Give the stream a like. I have Joey's Instagram handle on the screen right now. If you could go over there and follow his work, I think it's beneficial.
Sorry about that.
We can, no problem, man. Some helpful tips. All right, so I don't know what. Well, let's see. We made a video about that one. I've seen that one.
Did you have any other pieces that you wanted?
Yeah, I'm looking for something. I don't know. I'm just trying to find black and gray stuff. It's a mixed bag over here of stuff. So here was this one. I see things. I really like the client. When I look at this piece, it's to me, it's a lot of little things that bug me, and I think I want to put them out in the world. But I think I'd rather just ask you. See what you see. What are your eyes drawn to? Of course, I'm building this up for whatever. I do the same thing to my wife. She'll be like, well, what's bothering you? Well, I don't want to tell you. I want you to tell me what you see, because if I tell you, then you're only going to see it. I'm always, so and then the funny thing always happens is she points out some stuff I never even saw. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I didn't even notice that. What do you mean the eyeballs? Oh my gosh.
That means that you might have rushed it.
Yeah.
Because when I finish a tattoo, my clients always tell me the same thing: is when I think you're done, you're not done. Because what I do is once I think I'm done, once they think I'm done or I'm done, I stand up and I look at it for about 30 seconds. I'm like, okay, I've missed something, or I need to touch this bit up, and I'll do that several times, and then they hate it. They're like, oh, but yeah, I'll always stand up, go back in, stand up and go back in. But yeah, because
they're happy with it after the first. I think it's a mixture of pain. I think they're just like,
it is the pain.
That's
yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I do it sometimes, but I have backed off a bit because of the same reason you speak of. So maybe I need to go back to doing that. And
just when you finish a tattoo next time, instead of saying, yeah, we're done, or instead of letting them tell you that, are we done?
Yeah.
Or influence you, just say 1 second, stand up, look down at it for a minute, and just look at it and just say, okay, I need to do this bit. You'll see it. If you stand there, just look at it, you'll be like, okay, I know what I need to do.
And you know what? I wish I'd do that, because a lot of times what happens is we're all done and I go take photos, and it's like, you're looking at a little screen like this on the phone or whatever, taking photos. Like, okay, you wrap it up, they leave, then you get home and you're looking at it like, oh, what the heck? What didn't the phone catches the missed everything? You're like, oh my god. I mean, geez. And you're thinking, boy, I know it looked good then. So I have had people come back and whatnot. But so this is just I was trying different things here. And hands I hate, and okay, I'll just say, here we go. So
I like this one actually. I really like this one. I like the concept of it.
Yeah, the concept. Yeah. And to be fair, there was like 5 different concepts like this. I stole some stuff from like 3 different versions of the same thing. And changed stuff up. There's some things I liked, but there are definitely.
You know what? I'll tell you what I like the most about this is what catches my eye is you see the open skin around the Joker at the bottom, the white background. That really catches your eye, and how you transition, you smooth shaded it out to the edges. That's what I was talking about with that transition. You went in with like a 1 drop there. I can see it. But it looks really appealing to the eye. And with tattoos, you know what I found makes the tattoo look better, especially when you're doing a sleeve or a big piece, is if you blur your eyes, you can pick up the dark area, light area, dark area, because that's what people are going to see from afar.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen tattoos when there's just too much going on and it's just dark, 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 and from afar it just looks like a black arm with loads of scribbles in it. But when you got close, you see the art and you be like, oh, that's nice. But when you do it like this way, where there's open skin at the bottom, so his body's dark, above him is a bit light, and then under his chin is a bit dark, and then his face is light, and then his hair's dark, and above him that's contrast.
Right,
So
right,
that's
right
what you've
next to
created
each
in
other.
this picture. You created really good contrast. And
Okay.
if I stood back about a few meters or 5, 10 meters, I could see that that's a nice looking tattoo. Whereas
Okay.
if it was just you didn't leave any open skin and it's just all black all the way through, I wouldn't be able to say that's a good tattoo unless I go right up next to it and say, okay, I
That's
see the details. That's nice.
I see. No, that's a good point. It's not readable from across the room if
Yeah,
it's so concentrated.
yeah.
Well, for me, I hate the hand.
The
I
hand.
feel very scratchy, and I mean, again, funny how things look good when you're staring at it, but in the photo, it
I
just
think the hand the lighting on the hand is fine. I would say it's probably the middle finger under the bottom lip maybe. I think the crease is under the nail. Maybe I think
yeah,
it's a bit of a different direction, but it's not too bad to the point. You know, it's not bad. It's just if I had to nitpick, that's probably what I would pick.
okay, okay, well,
But yeah, I like this tattoo.
okay, well, that's good to hear because the
I,
hand was driving me absolutely insane.
yeah,
Um,
I like how you
and
did the wording as well, haha, and then it goes, you got light and white and black, white and black. It's a good contrast. This
yeah,
is a very this is I think when I was looking at your black and greys, this was probably the best black and grey one you've done.
oh man, thank you.
I would say,
Appreciate
yeah.
that because
This I like this piece.
one that I secretly hated a lot. So
No,
good to
that's
know.
really good, and even the hair as well. You did a really good job on the hair. So
Well,
you can see the different strands of hair, and you can see it's flowy. It's not just, do you know what I mean? It's not just lines.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, good to know. Let's find one that I was less even more I don't know what okay, well, I don't know.
Someone said the fingers look a tad sausage. That's I think that's an English
That's what was
person. I
bugging
think
me, yeah.
it's an
That's what
English
was
person. Only English people say sausagey.
sausage.
I
I
think so.
don't know. I mean, let's see. Okay, here's like a bit more of an open-ended one, more of like this was done on a girl. She kind of wanted a bit more open, breathable. Again, I feel like the direction of things in this one was a little off after I looked at it after the fact. Obviously, this star, this sun, and this stuff up here at the top there, that's somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking that doesn't look like the same person.
Yeah,
The
and I'm
work.
not sure. Maybe under the eye, it's like I'm not sure. I brought it out more. I don't know. It feels very like too.
So when you say you brought it out more, you know what you done a little bit. You see the inside of that left eye, where the white bit is in front of
Yeah.
the eyeball. You've put white in there, so it made it look like he's got a giant eye, like the not giant eye bag, but the eye bag's coming out a bit, like the eyelid. I don't know what you want to call it, but you know the white area. If you just put your cursor over that left eye, and
Right
then the
here.
right side. I don't know.
What?
I can't see your cursor.
Oh, you can't see. Why no? You can't
Oh
see.
no, I
Let
can't see it.
me try.
But the left eye, right? If you look at the left eye, the big eye, um,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, there you go. And then that little white bit on the right side, right a
Oh,
bit,
right here.
that open skin there.
Okay.
You've put white in there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, maybe. I can't
Yeah,
remember on this one. We'll say yes for the sake of
yeah.
it.
And just on the right of that, you put in like a dark line, so it's made it look like it's that lid is coming out. So
Okay.
it does look a bit off.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see it now. Oh, I did. Dang, I didn't see it before.
So that's where the
Oh,
white.
wow.
That's where you don't need the white.
I
If anything, I
see.
would have put
You
the
draw
white.
attention to things that don't need. They don't need the extra.
Yeah,
Is that what's
no,
happening here?
I just picking out.
Oh no, I
Um,
love it, man. Thank you. I didn't. I was
yeah,
actually looking at a different spot when I was talking.
no, that's what I was. No, that's what I thought you was talking about. So that's why.
No, I'm glad you see. That's what I'm saying.
But
I
yeah,
genuinely enjoy. Um,
I don't know if you was going for a fur texture in this, or was you just going for the shade, the tones?
I
I don't
think it
know.
was just more shape. I can't remember the reference at this current moment, but it was a very intentionally sort of like light. You know,
just
supposed to
just
be.
shading,
Yeah,
more shading than texture.
right, right,
Okay,
right.
is that
That's
what you
what.
was going for?
Yes, but I felt like it was simple, and I just I I feel like I messed up with the angles of which things were moving, right? The surfaces, right? So surfaces were moving this way.
Yeah, yeah,
Again, they're a little bit too much down, and things that were supposed to be back are a little too straightforward. And I guess I bring this one up because I guess I'm finding it a little difficult at times to figure out exactly the motion I'm trying to go with.
yeah.
While and I'm trying to look at the reference and interpretate that.
Well, what I'll do is when when I do my stencil, if I hand stencil it on my iPad,
Yeah.
I won't draw in every piece of fur. What I'll
Right.
do is in each section of the tattoo, whether it's the nose, around the eyes, the mouth, I'll look at the direction the hair's going, and then I'll draw a line in that direction, just so
Okay.
that when I fill in the hair and the fur, I would brush it in that direction so it's flowy. When I first
Okay.
started doing fur, I just thought I'd just scribble it all in to make it look like hair,
Yes.
but then it comes out really horrible. Um,
Right.
but
Right.
I think with this image, like I think what is lacking is you see the cheek on the side, the left side, that open skin on the
This
left
one
side.
over here.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like you've just forgotten about that area.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
as it's just white. There's no fur or texture. It's just you've put in some black dots and then you've forgotten about the shading. Maybe you forgot it
I
or
can't
it was
remember at this point. I
intentional.
honestly can't. So I'm just gonna. I want to whatever you see or whatever you think. I'm more than happy to hear it because I do not recall
Yeah.
the details of why that side is left so open like that. But it's good to hear that you're thinking that because of that,
Yeah,
it,
that's
it
the only
just feels a little too
thing
open.
for me that's a bit off on that is
Okay.
that open skin on the cheek is it's either you forgot or I'm not sure, or maybe the client was ready to tap out and you just left it as it is, or I don't know. Because because you haven't done anything, it just makes it look a bit flat. If you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's adding to the.
Yeah,
No, I guess that when I was done with this one, I thought, well, it was supposed to be a really kind of simplistic, airy thing, but I feel like if something's simplistic, you got to get it right, and I feel
yeah,
like it was just lacking, and I didn't know what. So it's interesting to hear that. Yeah, this empty area over here, and I didn't even realize there was something causing this side to feel like it was going somewhere different, and I think that I didn't even realize it. I think it is up here. This might be why the nose feels like it's doing this weird off to the side cut back thing.
it's not too bad because the when the white heals, it will fade quite well, unless you use Starbright, then that's probably going to stay there.
I do use Starbright. It's
I think I would have added you know that leaf that is on that cheek that I said was flat.
yeah,
There's one leaf that's mainly on it. Don't know if you can point that.
this leaf
Just
here.
yeah, just underneath that, right in the crevice, I would have put a solid black in there and then faded
Ooh,
it out to a light tone.
yeah.
That would have made the
So dynamic. It's
yeah
contrast. We bumped that up
contrast. That's
big
it. Yeah.
time. All right. All right. I like it. I like it. Anybody got any questions? Get them in while we can talk to Joey here for a little while, guys. Um, appreciate a few of you guys that are hanging out with us. I'm sorry I wasn't really prepared to, I just asked Joey this morning if he wanted to jump on. So I didn't really give anybody any notice here. Um,
I said with an English accent in my head, but I'm from California. Sausagey. That's so English.
oh shoot. All right, I
Thank
don't
you. This
know.
helps a lot. I'll watch this over and over again.
Oh, I'm glad to hear this helps. It helps me. I mean, hey, I'm being selfish to be quite
Mate,
honest.
I'm not claiming to be a top professional. I'm self-taught, and there's so much more to learn. And there's so many artists that I look up to, and I get intimidated if I was to sit by
I,
them and tell. I'll be like crapping my pants.
I believe you. I believe you. I think
Yeah,
that's what's. Um, it's just nice to talk to other people, get other people's opinions, and you're willing to help, and I appreciate that.
yeah, because
I was telling people
this is
earlier, I
how
was
I
like,
learned as well.
I wanted to talk to Joey, and I thought, well, screw it, man. We'll go live and share whatever,
Yeah,
So here was one that was, I think at the time, and it wasn't that long ago, really, I was intimidated yet excited to do. And I kind of wish that there was maybe a little bit more breathing room in some areas, and maybe I could have done more in the dark areas. But I was just one of the few that there was. I don't know. I'll let you look at it. I liked it. Don't want to say I didn't like it, but I just kind of wish I could go back in for another session on this one.
Oh, I like this one. I love the face. The face. You got the details in, and you know what you did here. You put. I don't know if you knew what you did, but you see when I was telling you about the light source.
Yeah,
So you've made the light source come from the right. You can see that it's
right.
hitting him from the right, and the left side is no light on it at all. And that's you've done that really well. You've also done this thing which you could have done it a little bit better, but it's really smart what you do. So on the left side of your face where it's dark, right?
Yeah,
Because you put a background in there. A lot of people would put in a background and they'll have it the same tone.
mm,
But what you've done is you've made it light. You've feathered it off really light. I think the only thing you could have done is probably just blend it in just a tiny bit more, just so that
okay.
it's not so much of a blunt line. It's like a
Yeah,
blunt white highlight. But I can see where you was going with it, and it's really clever. It's a little trick that a lot of people don't do. And even the top of the hat, you didn't go in with a solid line there. Like I said, the back of the hat is further away. So the fact that you've gone in with a softer edge, it gives it the illusion that the back of the hat is further away.
gotcha.
And the gloves as well. The gloves, the fingers, it's got really clean, sharp edges, which gives it the illusion that it's more in the foreground as well.
Okay.
And you did that really well. So the black as well. I think the black on his shoulder, you saturated that really solid. I think saturating black it's not as easy as
No.
people think. It's like doing color, but with black, it's a bit more forgiving because it's black.
Yeah.
But a lot of people they try and get the black in too quick, and what happens is when it starts to bleed and it's not saturated, you keep going over and over and over it. The way I pack black is I don't know how do you pack black actually? Let me just ask
Well,
you.
I think it depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm just packing black,
Yeah,
then I will, and I'm
like
not looking to get any motion, no texture, no nothing out of it. Just
yeah,
pack it. It's nice, slow. I'll do like slow, small circles,
yeah.
slowly moving that along. It cuts down on the amount of passes I would make.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I used to do that as well. But I find because when you do small circles,
Hmm.
there's no consistent direction. You're doing small circles. You could be going over here, and then when you clean it off, you'll find little tiny patches
Yeah.
between those small circles.
Yeah.
So what I found is if I'll go in more with my darkest black, and I would slow my hand down at this point, and then I'll brush it in. Obviously, with needle depth, you want to put a bit more pressure on the into the skin because you want to get it saturated in there. So you put a bit more hand pressure, and I'd brush it in. Like so, what I'll do is say this is your mag, right? My
Yes.
hand. This is your mag.
Perfect.
Um, I would so this is the skin. Sorry. What I'll do is I'll do 115 mag, for example. I'll do
Yeah.
a solid black line. I'll do down, up, down, up, pendulum motion. That's like 4 strokes, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll move over to the side a bit, just halfway over that. So you're overlapping the
Yeah.
layers, and
That's
I'll
key.
move left to right, left to right, left to right, really slow. Make sure I get that in as many little passes as possible, and then I'll wipe it away. And then when you look at it, it looks a lot more clean. And then if
Okay.
there's little bits that you missed, you could just give it one more slow pass. But obviously, when you move your hands slow, it depends how fast your machine's running as well. Because I told you, I run my machine at 5. I've been trying out 6 volts lately, but
Yeah.
normally for the last 3 years, I've been running at 5 volts.
So yeah, that would force you to
That
slow your hand
forces
down
you to
unless
slow
you want to
down
get
your hand.
stipple shading or whip shading everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
If you want to do stipple, then you turn up the speed up, but
or,
mostly
or you just keep your speed down, but move your hand faster.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but in order to get that smoothness, you'd have
yeah,
to move real slow at 5 volts, which
yeah.
I
It's
think
not
I'm gonna
so
have to
slow.
turn my
I'll
focus
probably
down.
say it's more like this, as opposed to
Okay,
going 8 or 9 where you have to do this. But when you do
right.
that, what happens is you're not
saturating as
You're not
much.
patiently getting the ink into the skin.
Mm.
It's more like you're trying to quickly get the ink into the skin, and then when you wipe it away, you're like, oh man, it's patchy. Let me just go back over it. And what's going to happen is you're going to irritate the skin, and then once it's irritated, it's very hard to work on after. You know, like when it gets swollen or etc.
Yes.
Like painting a wall, yeah. It's like painting a wall. You know, like Mr.
Yeah.
Miyagi's wax on, wax off. It's just that's what I do. I wax on, wax off, basically.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, in this particular one, there's not a lot of white. I think I used white smart, but I don't know. I guess for me in the face, I just felt like it was a bit too liney, but I don't know if there
No,
was any
no,
way
no. The
around that.
lines, it's if you look at the holes in his face or the scars, where the
Right.
light is hitting it, you got to create some dark parts of that hole where the light is not hitting it, and then you know what I mean to create that
Yeah.
look that there's actual holes in his face. I think the only critique mainly about the face is the eye,
Okay.
the eye. I don't know if I don't know actually.
Which
It's a bit
eye?
I can't really see it. It's a bit
I know I
small, but
can't. I wish I could zoom in on these, but on Instagram and how it works on here, I can't
I
zoom
mean,
in.
actually, no, it's not. It's not too bad actually.
Okay.
Remember when you do portraits of anything with an
Okay.
eye or an animal, you got to make sure that eye, you got to give it life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You actually got. I take more time when I do eyes as well, just because I want to give it life. I want to give the piece like more soul, if you know what I mean.
Putting
So
more. Are you slowing down and using smaller needles and trying to put as much
yeah, yeah. So
detail
I'll
in there as
use
possible?
a 3 or 5 line. So my needle setup is a 3, a 5, a 9 mag curved mag. Sorry, 3, a 5, a 9 curved mag, and a 17 curved mag. But
Okay.
I rarely use the 17 curved mag unless I'm
Okay.
doing background filling in background.
Yeah.
But most of the time inside the tattoo it'll be a 3, 5, and a 9 mag.
Now, when I saw, let me jump over to back to your Instagram here. When I saw, let's take that baby face you did.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I thought, isn't that interesting? Uh, I really dig it as well, and I need to
So
go back to mine because children's faces are some of the hardest technically
yeah,
do.
I used to be really scared of tattooing faces. This is a healed one. This is like I can't
Oh,
remember how
this is
long
healed on
after.
top of it. Yeah, I
This
didn't
is
even
healed, yeah.
realize it.
So if you go to the original, it's
Oh,
that's just a healed
I
one I
see.
did.
This is photo. Okay, we'll go to the original then, but it's cool to see it healed first. Oh, here we
Yeah,
go. I had a question about it. Now, more I look at it, more I understand that maybe it might not be the case, but you don't use large mags. Did you end up using that 17 curve mag in this face to get those
in
soft
this
areas?
one, the only time I used the 17 was to do the opaque grays as the background.
Okay.
Because I find opaques. I've been using it. So the last few months now, it's
Okay.
part of my my cup setup now. So I
Okay.
have my 5 tones,
Yeah.
and below it I would have my 3 opaques. I would have a dark opaque, a medium opaque, and a light opaque, and
Is
that's
that
part of my setup now.
okay? And the blacks, obviously, with your original black, with your
Yeah,
original.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes
But I
sense.
normally use the opaques for backgrounds.
And
But
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
you could see like if you look at the background, it looks like there's a soft background. For this one, you can tell like you can feel that it's a softer background.
Right.
Even on the edge of the hair as well, because it's further back. I went in with a mag for the edges of the hair, just so that it's not so sharp. And
Okay.
the face, for example, the nose, I cleaned up the tip of the nose, just make it look more sharp. And the eyes, I spent probably quite a bit on the eyes just to make it give it more life. And if you click right, there's a reference image as well. I think.
Could I ask? Did you do a little rim light on the back here? Is
Yes, yes.
I'm so subtle, man. That is so
Yeah,
subtle, but
so
it helps
because if
big
I
time.
just did it solid black,
Yeah.
it would just blend in with the hair,
Right. Right.
and you couldn't tell the difference with the separation. So what I
No.
was saying with your you know your Freddy, the dark side, how you
Yeah.
did that
Yeah.
little rim light, you could have just
Yeah.
made it a little bit smaller, and
Right.
it would have just give it a little bit more like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because with this, it's so funny because I guess that's when things are going well is when the little details almost you don't even realize it. Like
Yeah.
you don't even know if that was intentional because I'm thinking, wait, those don't blend. Oh man, there's this really light gap in between. Yeah, it's gotta have been intentional.
Yeah, that was intentional. So that
Oh,
was the reference image.
nice.
And then that's the image. I think the only critique I had on this one was the left eye. You see the eyelid comes down slightly, just a little dip in the left eyelid.
Oh, okay.
I because when I did this one, I was still doing I was still hand stenciling, and then you know when you do a hand stencil, normally when you print it out, the printout is not the reference. It's not clear as
Right,
clear as if you do a stencil on an iPad.
right. Oh,
Because
for
an
sure.
iPad you can zoom in and see where those little details are. And
Yeah.
it's only for the last month and a half that I've been using. I bought inkjet printer, and I do it on my iPad now. It's just a game for me. It's a game changer. It's just like I think the best thing I bought for tattoo stencils anyway. Because
Now, are you talking about the type where it just prints it right out as a stencil?
yeah.
Yes,
What
I have
the video you made about using
Yeah.
printing as it's just so much better. Like I can't go back to hand stencils.
So do you just anything
So
realistic? Do you just print it out and like you print it with all the purple, like the gray tones? Like,
no, I still hand stencil it on the iPad. So
oh,
I'll
but you
get
do print it to these.
yeah. I'll print it
Okay.
straight out of the of my inkjet. So because I've bought the you know the purple ink. I can't remember what it's called, but
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
the carbon ink. Yeah, and
Right. You pour it in.
yeah, because what it allows me to do is resize it, etc., or just print out a few. So if I make a mistake on one, I don't need to go back and print it. It just makes it so much easier. Whereas when I was doing paper stencils, I had one chance to get it right. If I did it wrong, I'd have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
And hand stencils used to take me about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much detail there was.
Yeah.
So
Too much monkeying around with that.
yeah.
I should use it a bit more. I just feel like the stencil doesn't hold as good as it does coming straight off that like carbon paper or whatnot. But
It's no with the hand stenciling, you mean,
well,
or the eco
see, what I
stencil?
do is I will print mine out on a printer, like my stencil, and then I'll
Yeah.
take that and I'll run it through one of those like slow where
Oh,
you
the
take the
thermal
paper,
ones.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
thermal, real slow. I feel like that holds better than the printed
It
ones that I print out of my my
it
inkjet.
depends how well when I do my stencil right
Yeah,
on
the
my
ink.
iPad, I would put a layer on top or an empty layer. I'll get a red pen, I would change it to red ink, and then I would do my stencil as normal. Then I would get that red ink, and then I'll turn the saturation off, so it'll go down. It'll go to like a grey or something. And then I'll turn the brightness down, so it's fully black. And then that's how I print it out. But I'll do the lines a bit thicker as well.
Okay.
And then when you put your stencil on, I wait normally about 15 minutes before I tattoo to make
That's
sure the
it. Yeah.
stencil is proper on there. Because I
And then
used
if
to
you move it nice and
wait.
slow, you know
Yeah,
that by the time you get to here of this tattoo, the rest is really dry at that point.
yeah. You know it's gonna be there for a while as well.
How do you feel about script, real quick? Fan?
Um, I told you, lining for me is
Oh, that's
I can do it. If you go to the granddad portrait I did,
yeah. I think it's up at the top, right? Or
yeah,
yeah.
like there, yeah. If you go to that one, that's my script. Like, I mean, it's not the best, but if you
Oh
zoom
no,
in,
that's fine to me.
I don't know if you can zoom in. There's a slight
Can
imperfection on the. Oh, I can't see where it is, but I think it's on the A or the inside of the A on the left side. There's a
okay.
slight wobble there.
Yeah, I think it might be on the A, but man,
Yeah,
I
and I
can't
kept
zoom
on. I
in.
was like, oh man.
That's why I hate script because you could look how executed beautiful and the granddad looks fantastic, man. I just
Oh yeah,
what you're
that was
seeing
a
is it's
very
very.
blurry image as well.
But the great thing is that's the scary part for me though is you can do all this fantastic work and then somebody's like, "Can we put some words at the top?" and fart
Yeah,
in the middle of a letter and it's like, "Oh god, no."
yeah.
But no, I think nice job. Yeah, so you do it when you kind of when it
I
has
do
to
it
be done or when it's
if they
needed.
really want it, like the compass and stuff. I didn't mind lining the compass and stuff like
Gotcha.
that because it's really faint. Like even around the boat. I mean, my line is not the worst. It's I just know it's not my strong suit.
Strong suit, right. I think you do enough of it so you can, do everything you want to do. Uh,
Yeah, but I don't avoid it no more. Before I used to try and avoid line work, but now I try and take on more line work if I can.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, so talk to me about what you all right, let me find the video on this or the photo right here. What was it that you weren't a fan of on this one? You were saying up in the helmet.
It's
You
just the
just
helmet. I think the top of the helmet. I didn't. you see where the solid black is.
Yep.
There's a little white bit in there. It's just little things that
You're referring to
some people know.
right up
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Left
Okay.
of that
Right.
horn, on that horn, there's a bit of like a patchy bit that I didn't saturate properly. Just little things like that, and on the left side where that black bit, just underneath the horn as well. It's not
Yeah.
fully saturated. To how I would like, but there's just little things that I would pick at and say, you know what, it could have been better, and next time I would make sure that I don't make that same mistake, and that's what you got to do. Just there's little
Yeah.
imperfections.
Which usually come down to, and again, I hope next time I get the opportunity to do something cool or any tattoo,
Yeah.
really, I slowed down a little bit, and that's the hard part. And I could see this is at the top too, so you were like getting pretty close to being done. I imagine.
No, I actually started on the face and then worked my way up to the helmet.
Okay.
And then I stenciled the mask on after. So this piece took 8.5 hours, like one sitting. So
Okay.
I was I felt.
I mean, that's most of their arm there. So
I rushed the helmet a little bit, to be honest, because I've realized I looked at the time and I already did the face and the flower and the helmet, and I thought I'm already 5 hours in. I was like, crap, I'm gonna be here all night. And then I kind of in my mentally rushed it, but didn't rush it too much where I wanted it to be still look good, but I felt myself rushing just a little bit when I should have slowed down.
okay.
But it's when I start a tattoo, I start off really slow, but once I get into it, I speed up.
Right.
And with the mask took me about 2.5 hours, whereas the face and the helmet took me about 5.5 hours or something like that. So
I gotta be honest, Joey. My favorite part is the mask, and I love all
yeah,
of it. The whole thing is fantastic, truly. But and somehow it's just the way the light. Funny enough, the way that light is hitting it with that very airy background. You even have like I guess we'll call it for the sake of it, like a windbreak right here in the background.
yeah. No, but it
Coming
actually
through.
I don't know if you can see the lesser, but it actually breaks through the face as well. You see when I said you break the line through the
Right
face,
here.
and you can add little light tones in between it to give it that transparency look.
Yeah.
I don't know if you go to the video, you can see it more clearly. I think.
Okay. Let me see. Is this way? Okay, that's zoomed in on it. All right, we'll go to the video real quick here.
So what you see,
Oh, I see it right
you
there.
see it breaks through the whole face. But what I've done was, instead of just putting a white negative line through it, every line that I put in, I try and do like soft shading in between where it's the darkest bits, and it creates that transparent look. And you could, like I said, you could do that with any piece.
That's such a really cool technique to that and above itself kind of levels up a piece just from an aesthetic point of view. I love that layering and that.
But it's such a cool trick to do as well. When you try it, you'll see. You'll be like, oh my god, I'm gonna put this in every tattoo. And what is good as well is you see the for example the bottom one, how it comes across outside the front of the face.
Yeah.
When she decides she wants to finish the inside of a sleeve, I carry that smoke through to the other side as well. So it brings the whole thing together.
Yeah. And people, like, I know what you're talking about. In fact, I saw it in some of your older work when you were showing us the first year, second year, third year, whatnot. And you had a windbreak, I'll call it there. And it was the traditional kind that's just like wide open, almost lined on both sides too, And I remember just a couple years ago, I tried to bring that in on a couple tattoos, and all the clients were like, I just don't know if I like that thing there. It's like, okay, fuck it. All right, fine. I'm never doing this. Nobody likes it. But this way, this is a bit more style to it. So,
it's almost like creating it's almost like an illusion of I'll call it a smoke line. And smoke, you know, so if you try and do smoke realistic, it's very hard to do.
Yeah, people always want it too, and it's like
it's very hard to do. But I would love to do a realistic smoke one day. But I haven't applied it to any of my designs because I'm still a bit.
You know what would be really cool, and I'd appreciate. I don't know if anybody else, but if you decide to put a video camera up while you do said smoke, share that with the world or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm glad to.
That.
This is how I learned, and I appreciate YouTube for like helping me learn so much as well. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it, because when I first started out, I was approaching studios and they laughed me out of the door. A lot of them.
Really?
And I didn't even get a chance. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do this myself. And
yes,
and I just I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna be the last one laughing at the end. So I thought I had something to prove to them, basically.
But that's what sharpens that steel, in my opinion. That's what,
Your hunger for it,
yeah, you
it just
hunger
grows
for it.
even more.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Is you can kind of get in a slump very, very easily, very quickly. I've noticed, and just kind of almost need inspired out of it. And today's been inspiring for me, and I hope that, as I think about the different things we've talked about, carry that along. And also, I have to realize I have to be patient too. You
Yeah, it's
immediately want
just
to like try different things or approach things differently, and unfortunately, you got to wait till you get another black and gray piece that allows the opportunity for me to do something like that.
yeah, just
And
like just
you know,
you said you run on 8.5 volts.
with the Bishop
Just
One shader,
with the
yeah,
Bishop One shader, yeah. I know the recommended one is like 6 to 8 volts or something like that.
I
But
think that's for the Packer.
oh, okay, for the shader, it might be. Yeah, I don't know what the shader is, but I
I'm curious
I
now.
think instead of running was it 8.5 you run?
Yeah, right about
Yeah,
that. Yeah, and I don't really change that for
yeah.
different needle groupings either. It pretty much
Okay.
keeps the same.
Well, try go down 1 volt next time you do
Mhm.
your grater, and because you consciously know that you've gone down 1 volt, you know that you're gonna have to move a bit slower.
And it's
You
gonna
could,
mentally make my hand
yeah,
move slower because
yeah.
I know what I've done.
And
Like,
when you do that and you like that outcome,
yeah.
I'll probably challenge you to go down maybe half a volt or even a
Oh,
volt lower. But just gradually, don't go from 8 half to what I use like a 5. Just
right.
gradually go down. Maybe go down in halves even if you want. But
Okay.
just see that you'll see the difference straight away. Is once you get lower the volt and you slow your hand speed down, you get a lot smoother shades and a lot smoother blends. And that's what I've learned, because when I started out, I didn't know what volt to use. I'll watch a
Sure.
video and they'll say, "Oh, they run on 9 volts. Okay, let me try 9 volts," and I'll be tearing up the skin, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, this hurts," and
Right.
I'll be like, "Oh, it's not supposed to hurt."
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Tattooing
what I mean?
yourself.
Yeah. So I don't listen to what voltage people. Whatever works for your hand speed and your
Yeah.
style, do
But
that.
I
Don't
like the
listen.
fact
Don't
that
copy anyone's hand speed
at
voltage.
at least you've gotten to see my hand speed, so you come from a place of like you've seen the
Yeah,
speed
yeah,
and what I so you telling me to go down a drop, I
yeah.
mean, a
I
volt
just go
is
down a
just
volt
there.
and slow your hand speed down.
Yeah, because I
About
think I'll have to. I think, like you said, I think that will force you to slow down a little bit,
yeah.
at least for me. And
Remember,
when I go to pack wet, I do slow down, so I
yeah.
should
A
probably
tattoo
do.
is it's not a race. It's not a race or anything. It's remember you're the one trying to. It's like it's your business. It's your work. It's something that you want people to see you walk around with. So you need to take your time and make sure it's the best it can be before, you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
would hate to if I did a bad tattoo and someone's walking around with it, I'd be like, oh, I mean, I wouldn't want, I don't like the idea of someone walking around with a crappy tattoo that I've done, and I just
yeah,
feel
because
like,
they're gonna tell other people
yeah,
who
and
did that
yeah,
tattoo? Dave did
yeah,
it.
who did
Okay,
that?
I'm not
Yeah,
going to Dave.
no, I don't think it'd be that bad, but just like, yeah, you just want to know that, yeah, you've done a good job. You're happy, the client's happy,
Yeah,
and just tell yourself every tattoo I tell myself, oh, okay, next tattoo is going to be my best tattoo. Next tattoo, and this was my more recent one,
yeah.
this
Someone
samurai,
look at it.
and
The
it
best.
is probably is one of my favorites. But when I've asked everyone says that this is their favorite tattoo that I've done as well, and it's my most recent one. So as long as you can get a better on each tattoo, the next one's always got to be a better than the last. Next one's always
Is
got to be
that
better than
not the
last.
fear, though? Would you admit that for me, if I prefer to do black and gray work and the next tattoo I do is not as good as I want it to be, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Sorry, say that again.
So for me, though, I feel like to feel like I'm progressing constantly, like we talked, to feel like you're progressing, each tattoo needs to be better than the last one. And for me, I would prefer to pursue black and gray a bit more while still doing everything to make money and please people. But when I do get the opportunity to do one and I feel like it was not better than the one prior to it, or it did not meet my expectations, it's a bit humbling, if you
It's
will.
but there's a reason if it's not as well, because
Okay.
you might not have looked at your imperfections or stuff that you
Mhm.
wasn't happy with. You didn't study it hard enough to apply it to the next tattoo, or you completely forgot to apply it to the next
Okay.
tattoo. And I feel like you say you don't get enough black and greys. I feel like if you took your time to improve your black and grey, and you started getting really good at black and grey,
Yeah.
it will catch people's eye. That's when they'll be like, "Oh, Dave does really good black and grey. Who's Dave? Oh, let me send you his number."
I
And
see.
that's how I
Yeah. Word of
built my
mouth.
clientele. Yeah, is word of mouth, and I felt like I was doing a good job every time, or a better job. And sometimes it doesn't. It's not better every time. Sometimes I'll do a job and I'll be like, oh no, I kind of took a step back there. Now I've got to make sure the next one's better than the last one I did. So
Right. Your last
you
best.
can't. Yeah, you can't always get better because that's it's like
But
there's got to be a point where it's got to be perfect.
well, I liked when you said though you pick out if there's 5 or 6 things you don't like, you pick out one or two things, one
yeah,
or two things
focus
that
on
you want to fix on the
strengthening.
next opportunity.
Yeah,
So even I guess if the tattoo itself isn't better than the one prior, you can at least fall back and know that those couple things you were set out to improve upon
yeah.
were improved
Someone
upon.
said here. Detail, not that one. So someone said, I think, where is it? So I like that. Plus, you get paid by the hours. Taking your time is good. So that's what
Mhm.
we was discussing before. Is
Yeah. Mhm.
I used to charge hourly, and I've stopped doing that now because a lot of my clients started looking at the time, and I'm very conscious of the time. And I couldn't tell them how long it's going to take. My tattoos are normally 6 to 8 hours. So I'll be like, it will be 6 to 8 hours. And they're like, oh my God, can I afford 6? I can afford 6 hours, but if you reaches 8, can I afford 8?
Right.
And there'll be a lot of clients that don't want to break. And sometimes you just need a break to stretch your back or stretch your legs. And it's like when you concentrate for too long as well, you actually lose, your focus gets worse. So we need a break. The client needs a break to
Right.
regain our focus and just to freshen up basically. And
Yeah.
a lot of clients when they're watching time, it's like you're very conscious about yourself, and that's when you start to rush. That's why I said to you, like, because you charge hourly,
Yeah.
the disadvantage of that is you tell a client, okay, that wolf one, for example,
Yeah.
so you probably quoted him a price for the leg, and he said, how
Yeah.
long is that going to take? You said 3 hours, it's going to cost this much hourly, so it's going to cost you this much. He's like, cool, I can afford that. But now you've got the challenged to get it done within that 3 hours, because you feel like if you go to 4, you'll feel bad for charging him an extra hour when you've told
Yeah.
him you charging him for free. So
Yeah.
that's where you rush, and then you you negatively impact your tattoo because you've rushed it and you haven't put in extra time. Whereas if I give a fixed price, and that's my fixed price, I would say that's my price. If you're happy with that, they say, yeah, I'm happy with that. Once you do the tattoo, you can take as long as you want. You could take 8 hours. As obviously you don't want to go that long if they
Right.
can't hack it, but you can take an extra hour to 2 hours because you haven't given them an hourly rate. You could say, all right, that's going to be 300, but you could spend an extra hour,
Yeah.
and do you know what I mean?
That's,
Just that little bit extra time, slowing down a bit.
yeah.
But it will make your tattoo so much better in the long run, and you'll see it
That's
as well.
what I'd love to do. So I'm slowing down. And it's funny though, I tell myself that, but I don't really know what that means. And I think just through talking to somebody else about it, I think that means like you said, taking a whole volt off. Like that will force you to
Yeah,
slow down.
it will force you because you can't go on lower voltage and move at the same hand speed. You
N-
tear up the skin.
No, yeah, yeah. And the look is gonna be so weird because uh,
Yeah,
it's just gonna produce a totally different thing.
yeah. You
Um,
you probably snag the skin if you go on a low volt and a high hand speed. You probably
yeah,
snag the skin a lot as well. So
exactly. I mean, I'll probably go at it with the same mentality and quickly have to slow it down. Um,
just
and
try
that's a
it. Just
tricky
try it
thing.
next time.
I am. That's why that's like the one thing I'm looking forward to dropping a volt, and I have to push back on the fact that I know that I'm immediately going to hate it. Because I feel like
You
that's
will.
deep
It won't
down
feel
that's what's going to
natural.
happen. I'm gonna be like, oh
Yeah,
no, convert back, convert back. It's like no,
yeah.
change is difficult, change is hard, and
It's because
if you
you're
don't
so
change, you don't.
comfortable with your hand speed and the way you do things. But if you know that you're comfortable with your hand speed and your voltage, but you know that you need to improve, right? So
Yes,
you know something has to change
yes,
for you to
it.
improve.
Yeah,
And if you don't do it, you're not going to improve, and you're going to reach a point where you're not going to want to. You're just giving up on trying because you've tried so much to make the next piece better when you haven't tried to fix your mistakes, for example, and then you
that's
feel like, you know what, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm just done with black and grey. So
That's
you have to
really true.
change. I recently just changed my cam. I was using a 3.2 for the longest time, and I just changed it to a 3.7 because I know there's something. I did this on my first piece on a 3.7, so I was really nervous about doing it with a 3.7 cam with a longer stroke.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
it's come out really nice, and I thought, you know what, that's actually better than how I expected it to be. Um,
Well, that's nice when that happens.
yeah,
That's nice. And if you ever do try out the Bishop One shader, I'm so interested now, even more so now from when I talked before about what
yeah,
your thoughts are. Because I
yeah.
feel
I
weird telling
see.
people that I like it because it's or different stuff because that's what I like. Somebody else could use the same machine and go, oh, okay, I'm not really a big fan of that. Nah, great. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a bunch of money because some idiot on the internet said they like this machine. Um,
You should just you could try out different machines. To be honest, like I said, I've only got one machine. I've got the Zion. I've got an old Elite pen as well, which is
yeah,
my backup. Um,
there
it's
you
my
go.
backup. I've never had to use that. The Zion's good enough for now, but I think the either the shader or the Flux EXO or something is next. I think the next move, once I feel like I'm ready for it, is to go up to a 4 mil cam, 4 mil stroke.
And what makes you want to go up to a 4 millimeter stroke?
I
Just
feel
out
like
of curiosity.
I just want when sometimes when I'm saturating or shading, like solid black, especially sometimes I feel like it's not going in
Mm,
as solid or as quick. No, I'm talking about quick, but
smooth.
as in one or two passes of solid black. I feel like I
Right.
have to go over it quite a few times to get it really saturated, and I feel like that takes a lot of my time. When I do tattoos, the solid black areas take the most time.
Yes.
Like like on this piece, it was the hair, the mouth of the mask, and the top of the head. It just took so long because I'm trying to
Yes.
saturate it. And yeah, it's like doing color, isn't it? It just
It's.
takes really
I
long.
think black is harder than, and I know it sounds weird to say it, but truly packing black because when you take a photo and you get your lighting right,
Yeah,
boom, boom. If the black is not saturated properly, it shows more than any color will
yeah,
ever
yeah,
show as not properly saturated.
yeah,
And so we work so hard to get that black saturated. It's heartbreaking when you see holidays in your black or it's not quite what you want it to be. It's like,
yeah,
God dang it, man.
yeah. You beat yourself up.
Yeah.
I think the hardest
Yeah.
thing about this tattoo, I think I was most nervous about the hair coming out across the front of the face because, like I said, I'm not the best liner, so for me to
Oh,
get each strand of hair, I had to make sure that the lines were steady. That's my lining basically. That's the best I can do with lining.
dude, that looks clean, man. I really do. I mean, it's
It's okay.
so light and whims. Let me get to the photo so we can see the actual. Yeah, I mean, it's so wavy. I think one of the best things about this is you have so much movement coming from it, and it fits this body part so well.
Yeah,
Flows right around, forward. Like it's you already know, and you smartly set it up to have it ready to flow right down and around with the windbreak open right there and her hair moving. It just feels like a gust of wind just flew up from behind her. It's a really hard thing to do in a tattoo or in any art, in my opinion.
yeah, it is. And that was part of the learning curve. It's to get it. It's almost like to get it with the shape of the arm. I don't know. It's weird. I can't explain it. It's to
Yeah.
get it flowing through the shape of the arm.
Yes.
It's
Flowing with the body. It's hard.
yeah, that's what I'm understanding better now than what I did a few years ago. But yeah, it's just its placement is really important. Toe placements
Yeah.
and size as well. Don't be scared to go bigger because a lot of people say say for example, if some people do this size arm, but they'll print out like an
Uh,
upper sleeve, and then the tattoo is too thin, and
you
what you
see
get
it
is you
a
get a
lot.
lot of space in the front and the back, and you see that a lot. It's because
Yeah.
they didn't take the time to re-stencil it or reprint it out. They just printed out what they thought was the size, and they just stuck on, and they couldn't bother to resize it.
Most
Um,
tattoos need to be bigger. And that's my
yeah,
other thing when clients, I can tell sometimes they're like, they're looking at it and they know it should be bigger, but think, oh, that's going to cost more. And I always tell them,
yeah,
it's no big deal.
exactly.
I let them know I prefer it larger and, I'll complete it in the same amount of time, which again is not words
Yeah,
I should say,
yeah, yeah,
again, which is why I think I will revert back to um, just giving a quoted price on the tattoo with some wiggle room depending on size, especially if you don't have a hands-on consultation, which I prefer. There's a question in the chat about a machine I want to get to by Crypt, but I do want to ask you one question real quick if I could. Do you do consultations? Do you have your client come in? Do you sit down? Do you talk to him, or do you talk to him on the phone? I mean, what's your operation?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry, man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I would talk to them on the phone, or I would message them via WhatsApp or whatever it is, and then they would send me reference images of what they want.
Okay.
And with me, if I get an idea in my head, I have to get it on the iPad or on Procreate. I have to design it straight away, even if it's 3 a.m. I woke up in the middle of the night and this idea is rushed in my head. I would get it on the iPad, and then I would send it to them at 3 a.m. in the morning as well. I'm like, sorry, I know it's late, but this came to me when I woke up in the middle of the night, and I just needed to show you now. But I'm sorry for waking you, if anything.
No kidding. That is cool. Now, so do you send your pieces, your designs to the client ahead of time?
Sorry?
Do you send your design?
Yeah. I'll send it to them, and what I'll do is I'll get them to send me a picture of their arm eye level.
Right.
And then I'll Photoshop it onto their arm, and then I'll send it over to them, see if they like it. If they don't like it, we'll want to make changes, then we'll make changes. But I think before I see my clients, sometimes I don't even see them. I need measurements to get the right thing. So I have this system where I need them to measure. So this piece, right? I said, can you measure the top of your shoulder to past your elbow?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Once she agreed to the design, I wanted to measure shoulder to past the elbow, right? And she measured it at 34 centimeters. So I have this template on my iPad, because my iPad, when you do a new iPad Procreate design, for example, you choose A4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I have a template of an A4 with each centimeter line on the A4.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll base off what measurements they've given me. Say if they said it's 28 centimeters long, I would size that stencil up 28 centimeters long. And I'll ask them for the width as well. Then I'll measure it out, and that's how I do my stencils. And it's
so that pretty much ready before they get
them. Yeah. So I don't need to worry about. And what I'll do as well is I'll print a stencil of that size they've given me. I'll print out a stencil about 1.5 centimeters smaller, and 1.5 centimeters, and another 1 centimeter bigger. So I print 2 of each. I have 6 prints.
Yeah.
One size, 2 size smaller, 2 sizes bigger, and I'll when I get there, just in case the size they've given me was off, I have backup stencils or whatever.
That's pretty similar to how I do as well. I guess it's different. I kind of like that in a way as well. Sometimes I will wrap their arm in plastic, and mark it, and then cut it out, and then lay it on the ground, and take a photo of that. So then I can import that in.
Yeah.
And then it's just nice to see how other people do it, or if it's a smaller.
Well, this is when you don't see them. You're one, like, if you see them, that's what I would do. I would template it with.
It's right. You're not seeing them. Okay.
Yeah, if I don't see them beforehand, that's for me. I find that's the best way to.
That is a good way. That is a good way. Interesting. All right. Sorry, I just had to. That came to my brain, and I forget stuff so often.
Someone had a question. Joey, I have a question. Was the hair done in one pass lines or bills? There were one pass lines. The hair on the cheek was, because it's in the foreground, I needed to make it thicker and more bold, so I used a 5 liner for that. And then the hair on the behind the cheek, I used a 3 liner, and I used a lighter tone as well to create the illusion that the hair on the other side of the cheek is more blurred out in distance, just like what I was saying about focus.
Yeah.
So yeah, like even the side of the hyena mask, the far outside, it's got a soft edge because it's further back.
Yeah.
Whereas the front of the nose, the nostril, I cleaned up with a liner to make it look more focused.
Wow.
Even just little, just like the lotus flower as well. I did that transparency thing there. I tried it with the rope on the helmet. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made that transparent. I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I think it came out okay. But that's the string on the helmet basically, and it's basically morphing into the lotus flower.
Oh, that's cool, man. There's so much coming from behind here, and it all adds to this flowy feel.
Yeah,
super cool.
Well, the opaque grays is the background. I love opaque. We saying how it makes it look so soft.
Yeah.
Like it's really smooth as well. That's why I've been playing a lot with opaques as well.
Now tell me, your opaque setup. There's a drop system to that too. What
Yeah,
mind sharing what you're obviously, let's say you have 4 caps, 1 cap's black.
I
And
have
then,
3 caps on the opaques because I feel like the fourth cap would be the darkest. It would be too dark. When it's too dark, it almost looks like you're a solid black when you put it in the skin.
yeah.
And it's really hard to differentiate the solid black to that darkest tone. So I have a half cap,
Okay.
and I have that same drop system of my second to lightest tone where I just fill the bottom of the cap, and then the last cap is 2 drops because I feel like 1 drop is there's going to be too much white, and what
Right.
happens is when white fades, it's barely noticeable. So I'll have 2 drops in that one.
So you have one that's half full of
Oh yeah,
black and
half
rest
full.
white.
Yeah, half full. Second one, bottom filled, and the last one's 2 drops. And I mix it with a blending stick because I used to mix it with the machines,
Yeah.
the cartridges, but it takes forever.
I use a little battery operated.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
use, and I
dude.
find it mixes so much better.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So much better.
They do. Now I mix a little bit of white with all of my inks,
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
I've been debating going. I don't know. Part of me debated it's going back to maybe not, and just
I think
feeling
for
that a
you,
little
for
bit.
yours, I think for you, maybe go back for now
Yeah,
until you've mastered or improved on your your tones, your
yeah,
light, mid, and your blending and your tones. Once you've improved it, you're really comfortable with it. You feel like you're really good at it. Like how you did with the Joker piece, that was really soft blends. Once you feel like you get to that level and you're really comfortable, then apply the opaques. I only started applying opaques for the last like maybe 4, like consistently for the last 2 months.
yeah.
But yeah, just for the last 6 months I applied it for some tattoos. But the last 2 months I applied it for my last 5 tattoos. But
I thought about adding monkeying with opaques, but I don't really I don't really mess with them at all. Like I said, I just added like 8 drops of white to each one of my caps and fill them up with water. So it's still at it's still a
I don't get
distill.
that drop system, that count system. I'll just get lost with numbers. I just do it by eye. I find it easier. I don't know. Yeah, because sometimes I think I did the drop system once and I was counting, and sometimes you squeeze too many drops out,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you're like,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah, I have plenty of times people my client wants to talk to me because I pour my ink once the stencil's on, that's when I
Yeah.
choose my needles and I pour my ink, and I'll be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the client starts talking. It's like, fuck, all right, new cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So nowadays I count out loud so they know, oh, he's doing something. I'm not gonna
Don't talk to him. Yeah.
talk to him. But yeah, I am kind of anal, I guess, about counting that out. So it's like 2010. My darkest gray is only 20 drops of black, and then 10, 5, and 2. And
What
then I
was 20? Is 20 drops what though? Is that, if you look at it
probably
visually,
less
is
than
it
half
half?
full. Probably half, or yeah, it's about half. Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of counting, just do a half cap next time.
Yeah, I guess I could, because a lot of times when I'm done counting, I'm like, it's about half. 10, I don't really know what that equates to.
Yeah. But
I
it
might
also
start
depends on
looking
the
at the
size
cap.
of the cap as well.
True. Yeah, that's
Because
the big thing too. And when
yeah,
talking to people, I try to explain that, if you're using a small caps, don't listen to
so
this drop
I
system
think,
because you're gonna be way too dark.
yeah, that's what I mean. If you use a drop system on different size cap, you're screwed because it's not going to come out the same. Whereas if you use the same like
Yes, idea
measurement,
of half full, quarter
it
full,
doesn't matter
quarter
what
mile.
size cap. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I find that
So
it's
yeah,
easier that way. Anyways, less tedious.
that's true.
What machine is he pulling off this wizardry with? The Zion, the FKI Zion. When it first came out, I found out it had give, and they released the lightning bolt batteries as well. And I just thought I was so obsessed with it when they were doing a lot of the video previews before they released it. But yeah, that's what I use, Chris. It's a bit old now, but I will move to another one soon.
Somebody
Bradley,
asked,
I can send you a pic of Dave if you want to try it out.
I have a question about, I have been using coil. All right, so Somebody says, I have a question about rotary machines. I've been using coils for years, but when I try to line with a rotary, the lines are tough to get in. No idea why. I
I
think
know why.
that's, yeah, go ahead.
It's the coils hit really
Yeah.
hard. Coils hit very hard. I struggled with coils because it made my hands very shaky. I couldn't get. It was just. Even after I turned the machine off, I would get this. I don't know why my hands would carry on shaking. It didn't. I didn't like it. But with coil machines, they hit hard. When you use a rotary, it depends on what rotary you're using. I don't know if you could answer what rotary you were using, but there's rotaries now that hit really hard, and you want to go for a rotary with a longer stroke as well. I would say anything from 4 mil stroke and above. Anything below that is more for shading. That's probably why your lines with the rotary was softer, because you probably went with a rotary machine that was designed more for shading, and you're trying to pack lines in, which is quite tough. I don't know, like Dave, if you try pack lines in with your shader, which is a 3.5 mil stroke, do you find that the lines are as solid, or like can you pack solid bold lines with it,
No,
or do
you
you
can't.
switch to another machine?
I switched to another machine. Yeah, I use the
Uh,
pack, the Bishop One Packer for all my lining
exactly. And
because
what's
it just
the
doesn't
stroke
have
on it?
the stroke on the Packer is 4.2, and it has a completely different motor in it
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
runs a
Brushless
much
motor.
stronger. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing with coil machines is you can move so much faster. It's very less effort. You don't need as much
Yeah,
pressure. None of it. It just, and if anything, you have to err on the side of caution because it's hitting much harder. I mean, people who run with coils can move their hands as well. Some case, some people watch them as quick as you can run a line. Just
yeah, yeah. It's
and
crazy.
they're running large groupings. But yeah, with the rotor machine, you have to know what machine you're using and what the capabilities are of that machine, especially depending upon the needle groupings you're running. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I found it was so much. It's like so much to understand about a coil machine as well. There's so many components to it, and it's I don't know. It's not quiet.
yeah, no,
It
no,
vibrates too much.
it's heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah, and I don't know. I could never get the hang of
I
it.
once got a girl's hair stuck in the freaking coil machine. I
Oh,
was up tattooing a neck. This is a long time ago, and not that I've tattooed that long, but and it was up here, and we were doing something on her neck, and with the coil machine,
oh,
with the rotary machine, it's all right here. You can just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think I rotated the machine this way and wasn't paying attention. Her hair was getting up in it. It was awkward to try to, nonchalantly take her hair out of the machine, but just all those little things that you don't have to deal with. I have never tried the wand liner there. Who has that? But that was from
The one
Chris.
liner is probably the best. It's apparently it's very good for lining.
Yeah, and you gotta again get used to every machine you're using too. So if you
Yeah,
got a liner, I certainly can't treat it like you would the shader or the
no,
packer or any. That's quite a stroke, 5 mil stroke. And they gear their machines and their motors to apply to what they're supposed to do. I
yeah,
kind of like that about Bishop personally. Is there's a lot of companies and machines that you need a degree to operate, and they come with so many options that you could fly to the moon, and it's probably awesome. It probably over
yeah,
time figuring it all out. I'm not a very wise. No, well, wise not right. I'm not the smartest person in the world. So when you make things easy for me and you label them, this is a shader, this is a packer, this is a liner. Well, I know that
yeah.
I could get away with lining with your packer, and a lot of people shade with the packer too, but it's just more geared towards certain things. Makes it easier
I
for
love
me.
those. The idea of those. The only thing is, obviously, when you're starting out, I don't know if you want to spend like,
No,
is it like
three
$800,
thousand
nine
dollars
hundred
for all
dollars?
three of
Yeah,
them.
it's three
They
thousand
used
dollars
to
for
be
all three.
$600 a piece, and you're $1,800, and now Bishop sells it with. You
Yeah,
can pretty much only get it with their battery operation. Now
yeah,
they're like
yeah.
$1,000 a pop or 1,200. It's like
It's
holy
twelve.
god.
It's 1,200 for
Ugh.
I think it's 1,200 American for the with the critical batteries.
Yeah, yeah.
You,
It's a night. What you're $3,600 plus shipping to.
yeah,
Whew.
yeah. So it's
I
just
mean,
like,
I could understand totally. I could absolutely understand doing that. Just
yeah,
it's hard to justify when you're just getting into tattooing.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, no problem. Crypt,
I absolutely
crypt,
love the
crypt, crypt, crypt.
packer. The quality is insane. Getting used to the one liner was tough, and I was blown out so easy. You
Ooh.
blown out. I think the only reason people blow out is when they go too deep. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
And
that's
and
that's
and,
it.
and steel
Just
liners are so sharp and so small. They pierce the skin. There's like no
yeah.
if you're listening or feeling for the skin to push back on you or give you some sort of vibration, in my opinion, it's not going to happen with
There's
this.
no give. There's no give in those machines, is
No,
there?
no,
I know the
no,
shader's got built-in give, but the liner and the packer, I don't believe there's much give in those.
no. There's no give in those, and I think the give that they build into that they call the built into to the shader is, I think, and I could be wrong, is mainly just the fact that they went with a motor that is a bit weaker, so it can
Yeah,
bog down a little bit. Not like you would a coil machine, but
yeah,
a little bit. Like you can feel it a bit in the skin. I think that's what I like about it. I feel like
yeah.
I can find that spot. Do you um how was your process of seeing your work healed and learning from your healed work? Was there a point when you realized this is not working, this is working? Um
Yeah, actually, now you mentioned that. If you go back to that portrait of the baby,
sure.
you know there's a healed one.
Yeah.
So
Here's the healed one.
yeah, so it's healed very nice.
It did. It did.
But the under the left side of the chin and just underneath the nose slightly, I could have went in with a slightly darker tone. I feel like
Okay.
it's faded a bit more than I would
Sorry.
like. But this one's healed really nice. The other one that you just saw, that's 3 years healed. This one,
3
and
years. Wow.
yeah, this one, the client is he said just do whatever you want, and then I just came up with his life and death. Well, it's to me it's life and death because of the rose, and then death is
Yeah.
under, and yeah. But yeah, this
That's
one's
cool.
healed really nice, and that was about three and a half, 4 years old. No, 4 years old actually. This one, I think.
Wow. So this is one
Yeah.
of your earlier ones then,
Yeah,
huh?
this is I was only about a year and a half to 2 years in,
Wow.
like yeah. So, but that's how they look healed. But yeah, the face looks really nice in this. But I wish maybe just a little bit darker under the nose.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at that one and then we'll jump over here and see. Okay. All right. Do you think that you thought this was darker because you were layering up using the same tone, and then when that tone healed, it actually just kind of healed to what it was supposed to be?
That is, I think that is one of the reasons. But the other reason is when you do babies' faces,
Yeah.
you have to be very careful with the dark tones
Sure,
because
sure.
if you go too dark, you're going to make him look like an old person. Especially right, like if you look at the underneath the eyes, there's no wrinkles, anything like that. Whereas, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of light shading on the left eye, a tiny bit,
Just
because
a little.
babies' faces are so smooth they don't have any imperfections at when they're babies. But if I went in underneath that left eye was slightly a bit darker and went underneath, it would look like he's got eye bags and it would look like an older kid as opposed to having make it
Yeah.
give the appearance of a baby picture, if you know what I mean. So
Absolutely.
when you do portraits, especially portraits, I take time to do portraits. This one wasn't that big. This was probably the size of my hand open, and
Okay.
I would probably say I think this one took about 5.5 hours. And he
Wow.
was ready to tap out after 5 hours, but I managed to just get what I needed to do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think the hard part about baby faces is on top of what you said, but there's not a lot to work with. Like you said, they're so soft. So what you do has to be executed like perfectly.
Yeah,
There's not really a whole lot of, because you can get away with some texture in a real face, a wrinkle, things to save to give you form and shape and
yeah, yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
But here
yeah.
you
If it
don't
was like
really
an
have
old
much.
person, there's the wrinkles. You can hide them, and any little mistake you can hide shadows. And on an older person with babies, you have to get it spot on. I've seen some really bad like baby port. You see them on like
Oh yeah, oh
tattoo
yeah.
Punisher where there's people make memes out of it, and it's like oh my god,
Yeah,
like
it's a bit scary. Some of them we've had them on the. But yeah, that is a good one. So I'm definitely understand why you
someone
like that one so much.
said. So with a rotary, use a longer stroke to line with. Yeah, yeah. So crypt, yeah. If you use a machine with a longer stroke, you'll probably get a much better result than what you was using before. I'm not sure what machine that is. You said the Sembrio or whatever Econ. I've never heard of that, and I don't know what stroke that uses, but I'm assuming it was probably a softer machine. That's probably why you couldn't get your lines as solid. yeah, this is this was like my first piece that maybe feel
You're
like,
really excited,
yeah,
huh?
I was really proud of this one.
Dude, I would absolutely be proud of this one. I love it. Like, I would. Let
yeah,
me see if there's a photo of this one.
yeah, it's a bit further down, I think.
Is it further down?
Yeah, it's at the bottom. It's one of my early ones. I was about a year and a half in when I did that one.
No
Yeah.
kidding, huh? It's just one of those that were like, man, I really like it then. I really like it now.
That was that was the side by side photo and tattoo comparison.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, dude, that's awesome.
yeah.
One of
This
the
is,
best parts is the texturing in the forehead. I mean, obviously you got to nail
yeah,
everything else, but this is the part we, me and Andy have seen a lot of these prior to
yeah,
when
yeah,
you sent yours in. It was like, oh my gosh, because you get people that would just line all this like incredibly, or just I don't know what some people have done. There
yeah,
were
yeah.
definitely very levels of it.
I think for
But
me, probably the eyes is like my favorite. If you go, I think it's down a bit more actually.
oh,
Oh no, 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 no. There, down there.
there
Yeah.
it is. Oh shoot, yeah,
Um,
no,
the eyes, yeah. For me,
oh,
that's
there
what
we go.
gave it. That's what gives it more life. Um, like I said, if you spend a bit extra time on the eyes, and just make it,
Yeah.
give it some soul, and it just makes it captivates people more when they see it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a little bit of extra detail in there.
Thanks.
Man, love it. Let me see
These
what we
days,
got
okay.
next. Oh, that's the video.
I'm on. Someone said one of these days I'll get an email in everyone's opinion suggesting my work. Chris, you can send one in now if you want me to.
Yeah, we'd like to. Yeah, we can take a look at it. We got
Do you
another
mind?
20. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab a quick drink and then
Yeah, for sure, man.
yeah, just give me a sec.
Yeah, if anybody here, honestly, like I said, we got another like 30 minutes we'll be kicking around for. So if you have anything you want to send in, like I said, for the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look at it. Just a mixed bag today, guys. Just, again, just BS in here. Where is my okay. I don't know why it does not give me my option. Wait, is this it? There we go. There we go. You can send your work to the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you guys are here and you want to do that. We'll get an opportunity to let Joey take a look at you guys' work if you want. I know I truly appreciate just a few things he looked at on my own. It's just nice to have somebody else outsider look and to give you their opinions. So it was definitely different. I do this for people all the time. It's actually kind of fun when somebody else looks at your stuff and says, hey, this is what I think you could do differently. This is what it's like, wow, that's really cool. Thank you. Like, that's cool. So let me pull up the other email address. If you guys are wanting to send your work in, send it to the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Like I said, we got another like 30 minutes or so. We'll try to end it around 3 hours. Let's see. Bam. Cool stream. Like Sunday. Just no Andy, but the gentleman is cool too. Yeah, it's kind of an impromptu live stream, Smoke. And I appreciate, man, you being here on this random Tuesday evening. Just had the opportunity to get some info and didn't want to pass it up and thought, well, if I'm looking to learn a thing or two, maybe we share it with some other people. And yeah. And thanks, Bradley. Look forward to seeing that, man. Bradley in the chat. We're hopefully going to be tattooing Bradley in Tampa while we're down there at the convention. Looking forward to meeting you, man. Appreciate you taking the time out to come out there and giving me the opportunity to tattoo you. Let's see. Do you think someone with a skin condition like eczema should stay away from getting a tattoo? I really don't know. I don't have enough to say on that.
Sorry about that.
Do you have any intel on tattooing people with eczema? I don't.
I've never tattooed anyone with eczema.
Right. I don't know if
I
it's good.
think their skin might be a bit more sensitive, but
Right.
I don't know. I'll probably, it depends how bad the eczema is, but I probably wouldn't tattoo over a rash. Yeah, I don't know. I've never tattooed anyone with eczema.
Myself either. I have not at all either. Well, I have nobody has sent in any emails yet.
Okay.
Which I think is just throwing people for a loop because it's a random Tuesday and they're like, "What is happening? Is this a Q&A? Are we sending in emails?" It's like it's just an impromptu live stream here, like I said.
No, just I'm happy to give anyone tips, or if you want to if you want to message me on Instagram, whatever you got a question about something, just message me. Don't be scared or don't feel intimidated or anything. Whatever, just email me. I'm very chilled. I'm happy to answer anything and or help out or whatever.
All right, as I wait, I have a tattoo that is very kind of like a simplistic tattoo. It was actually really fun though because it wasn't really too taxing. But there was just some really simple shading in this, and I wonder what you would do differently. It's kind of cartoonish as well, but I figured screw it. We're waiting for
Smokes
I'm
is
waiting
scared.
for people to send stuff in if they would like to. But I'm scared of Instagram. Smoke, you're not scared of Instagram. What are you talking about? You're not scared of it. Are you killing me, man? Let me see here. Let me pull up
So
my.
someone said, "Can I send a portrait?" I already sent to get his opinion. Sent who? Oh, me. If you want to show it on the screen, I can.
Yeah, just send it to the email scroll at the bottom of the screen, guys. I will open it up here and we will absolutely take a look at it. So if you have something, like I said, we got another if you're okay with another like 25, 30 minutes,
Yeah,
I should go about 3 hours if people are interested. So
yeah.
let me grab a it's late over there now too, isn't it? Not. You're in
Yeah, it's like 1:45
Oof,
a.m.
man.
Yeah, the kids will be up in about 4.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Okay.
5 hours. 5 hours. It's all
Oh
right.
my. Here's this piece. Okay, so this is a turtle, little
Oh
turtle
yeah,
guy.
I really like this piece.
You did? Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
tried to
think
go very soft with it. I mean, while I don't know if the balance was right though with the background and
no,
whatnot.
the soft shadings is very nice.
Okay.
You did that very well. Um, the I think you might have missed a little line just at the top of the shell connecting to
Yeah.
the head.
Yes.
I think you've maybe
Yes. Yes.
missed that, but
Did. Yeah. Yeah. And
and
it was not supposed to be that way. Like there are some little
yeah,
lines that are that way, but that
yeah,
one was
yeah.
a touch. Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know the eyelids. Like you started to go up on each eyelid on the sides, but the top is not solid black. I don't know if that was done on purpose or.
Yeah, yeah. This one was mainly the piece was lined out. There wasn't really much
Oh, okay.
shading. Also, it's kind of like
Yeah.
dreamt up a little bit. And this is
Okay.
the lining. And then, so I think what you think would have been cooler had I carried this. I wonder if you could. Let me move the camera around.
I
There
I
we
think
go.
it would have been
Can you see
instead
it?
of
Nope.
starting going up with a solid line a little bit, maybe just have a soft line instead, just completely
Instead of
off
it,
of the eyelid. Yeah, it would have given it a bit of a different dimension, like depth or whatever you want to call it. But other than that, yeah, I love this piece.
okay.
I think the back leg as well. You see, you've done a solid line. I don't know what I would have done different because it's in the background, and what I
Yeah.
was saying about focus on the front. The front fin is like solid outline, so it's more focused. But the back one, maybe you could have shaded in the whole thing and leave the outline out to create a
Uh,
softer back leg. Like it's not in focus, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah. I never really.
Yeah,
Sometimes these lined out pieces that are just kind of like you feel like it's just aligned, and you try to just get some shading in there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
think of them that hard. I never really put much process into it. You're like, okay, yep, we'll line this, we'll shade this. But to
That's why I
think
don't
about
line.
the fact of like putting that back leg softly in there is like, oh wow,
Yeah,
never
is
really
that
would
the
have thought
baby from
a
Finding Nemo?
squirt.
Squirt
Oh, I
from
think
Finding
yeah,
Nemo?
yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
There's been two separate people. I've tattooed this character too many times. Um, Never and then several times. Like, what is going
Yeah,
on? Is there
yeah.
like a new movie coming out? I don't know. Um, But yeah, I don't know. Here's a face we tried to work on. I wasn't like the biggest fan of some of the lining around the outside, and of course, I took photos of it, but the lighting. I had so much glare on. I couldn't get my lens to do the glare takeaway thing. So I had a shot from a video. I was
Yeah.
like, well, I guess that'll have to do here.
Do you
Um,
use um do you use the what's it called? Polarized lens?
I do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I find that helps with glare a lot.
Oh, it did, and that's the thing is I couldn't find my stupid little one for my phone.
Oh, okay,
Here it
okay.
is, but,
I mean,
so
this one's. I think
what
this
could
one's
you
nice. I don't know if you finished the rose at the top, but I think for
the
me,
flowers?
the hair. So you see the hair on the left. Is that meant to be solid black, or is that meant to be some subtle strands going down the
You
side?
know, I wasn't it felt a little undecided with it because it is
Okay,
solid black in the photo, but I just didn't want it to be all black right there, so I tried to leave some breathing room, I guess,
okay.
in it, and, what are your thoughts? If
I think it is a bit. I'm not sure if it's meant to be. Well, it looks to me, it looks like hair. It doesn't look like you try to make it solid black. So if it was solid black in the reference, and you try and make it hair. So if you try and change the reference, I think it's cool to do that. But you could maybe could have just had one or two strands across the forehead linking up to the side of the hair.
ah,
So do you know what I mean? Just to give it more of the hair effect. Because if you actually blur your eyes a little bit and you imagine that solid black, it just looks like a bald lady.
a bald lady. Oh, okay,
If you
okay.
know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think when you do stuff like you've got to decide whether you're going to do it solid black or make it look like hair. There's nowhere. I think because you went probably in between, it's a bit
Yeah.
confused. If I don't know,
Yeah, no,
but,
no, I like
yeah,
it. I wanna hear it. Absolutely,
yeah,
man. Whatever thoughts you're thinking, "I don't
yeah.
like that," or this or whatnot. Is it difficult sometimes to say to look at something and go, "Something's not right, but I don't know exactly what it is." It's just because that's what happens sometimes when I'm looking at tattoos to try to help people is I don't know
Well,
exactly what's going on.
no, that's what I do with my tattoos. So once I've done a tattoo, like I said, I sit there for quite a while and stare
Yeah,
at it, and then I pick out what I could have done better. But
yeah,
I think with this one, I think what you've done really nice is the little crease on the cheek here is really nice. But
okay,
the eye is very nice.
okay,
There's life. It gives it life. It looks like it's quite creepy.
yeah,
It looks like she's staring into, I don't know, she's like a ghost staring into someone. So you've given it life with that eye.
okay,
I think the only thing I probably would have changed maybe it's just I think just there's no direction of light source in there. If you
mm,
look at the whole entire face, it's just one or two tones across the whole face. I think there's
right,
a light and there's a medium.
yeah,
There's no
pretty
there's no
much.
there's no medium dark or there's no super light. I
Ooh,
think it could have
okay,
benefited just from like on the cheek of the woman. You went light there, so it looks like there's a bit of light here and there, but the rest of it is just kind of like
pretty monotone.
yeah, that's it. That's the word. Yeah,
Would there
mono.
be could see a bit darker bits maybe, up in the nose area, maybe around the like, I'm trying to think where I would have put maybe a bit more mid-tone
Well,
or
that's
darker
where you
mid, maybe
got.
here,
I think
maybe
that's
up
where you
in
got to
here.
decide. So when you get a reference that doesn't
Yeah,
have a lot of contrast, that's when you got
yeah,
to decide how I'm going to add contrast to this reference that
mm,
the client wants or that I want to use, for example. Then you got to imagine a light source. That's when you just got to visualize a light source. So if I decided the light source is going to hit her from from the top going down, right?
yeah,
What I'll do is I'll add shading, more shade, darker shade, on top of the eyelid, underneath the eyebrow, where the eye dips in, because the light's not going to hit there. Where you've put it on that crease there, on the lip,
yeah,
that's done okay. Under the chin, I would have made it a little bit darker.
okay,
Under the nose, I would have made it darker, and just underneath the bottom lip, I would have made it a little bit darker, just to make that
okay.
bottom lip more pronounced. So
Because that light is technically kind of
yeah,
coming more so from the top.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
alright,
Yeah.
I get what you're
So
saying.
when you use references to where the client wants that reference or
Yes,
whatever, and it's not got good light source or good contrast, that's where you got to use your artistic
okay,
approach and imagine the light source hitting from whichever direction you decide. That's where the
yeah.
light source is going to hit. That side of the face is going to be lighter. This side of the face is going to be darker, and that's how you go about it. I would say.
So it's sometimes like if a reference, like you said, the reference doesn't quite give you all those values, or even I'll even mess with curves sometimes, but I feel like sometimes it's darkening too much of things and it's lightening too much of things. It's in too much contrast, and I lose all those middle tones. Would you therefore go and put those midtones in, or would you go ahead and find those midtones, keep those, and then add your darks maybe?
Um, I'll me personally, when I go dark, I would go. That's when I go mid and then light. I would never go from dark to light and leave out the middle. because
Mhm.
it's you're not transitioning. You
Yeah.
can't. It's very hard to transition from dark to light unless it's like on the edge of the cheek where the hair's black and then the cheek is light, and then that's
Yeah.
fine. But it's hard to. It's very hard to transition from dark to light without the mid-tone. So
Right.
I always either go light to dark or dark to light. There's always, you know what I mean?
Okay.
There's a direction of which way I want to do it. So I'll do it either way, but there has to be a mid-tone in between either way.
Right on. Right on, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Let me go ahead and go back to our email. Okay, we do. Somebody did send an email in here. Good to go. Good work, guys. Good work.
So, smoke.
We'll smoke up to. What are you up to over there?
I'm gonna get my tat stuff tomorrow and have a bash. It's been a couple of weeks. Oh no, sorry. But I don't know if he's English or not. But English bash means to jerk off, basically.
Oh, I didn't know.
So yeah, so English slang, going to have a bash is going to have a wank, basically. So it sounded like he's going to go have a bash because it's been a couple of weeks. That's why I was laughing. But what he means is I'm going to go give it a try. It's been a couple of weeks since I've tried tattooing. Basically, I think that's what he means.
Oh, now he says he's gonna try the shading technique that Joey Boy spoke about. Tattoo instead
Yeah,
of
the brush
circle.
technique.
Right.
Try it, but
Good
just
stuff.
instead of don't try and do the pendulum. So what you can do if you're practicing, do a solid line if you want, or a soft line, whatever, and go in from that soft line. So that's the line, right? The needle will go in and then feather it out and bring the needle out. That's one way of doing it. Or you can feather it in. I don't know. I can't do it properly, but you can like feather it in, so go from high and then go into the skin, high into the skin, or you could do it from the line, go into the skin and feather it out and up, out and up. But do it slow, take your time, and start with a light tone and then build up if you want when you want it to get darker. Yeah, give that a try.
Heck yeah. Well, we have an email here.
Yeah.
If you see any other questions, go ahead and
Yeah.
shout them out there. Later, Bradley. Good to see you again, man. And he says, Joey, your work is awesome, man. Follow you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Later says I'm okay.
See you later. Oh,
Okay. Thank you, Smoke. All right.
and smoke. See you later.
So I have this piece from I'm horrible with names if you've seen any of these videos. First furry
Cassia.
piece. Cassia. First
Cassia
furry piece. 1 month in, still on fake skin. Real Skin's the brand. Would love the opinion about what to focus on first to improve. Thank you so much, Joey. You're truly awesome to share your knowledge. Heck yeah.
Thank you. Oh wow.
Cool. I like that a lot.
Oh wow.
I can tune this in a bit too.
That is such a nice tattoo.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I love that. Honestly, if I can't, no, just keep doing what you're doing.
Right. It's like, what do you want me to tell you?
Maybe the eyes. Maybe if I had to pick something really small, yeah, it probably be the eyes. You could have added. Because eyes are wet, right? So you want to. There's always light hitting it. So if you look at the face of the leopard or the cheetah, the leopard. It's a leopard, I'm assuming. Yeah. So if you look at the eyes of the leopard, it's just solid grey. But when you look at the cheek and the chin, it's white. So the light's almost hitting it from the top right going into the middle. So you could have added a light source on the top right of the eye, maybe just a little dot of white there. Or just obviously it's hard to do white on fake skin, but maybe just don't shade that in future. But other than that, yeah, for someone that's practicing, that's very good.
Yeah, is this Cassie? Is this? I wonder, is this Archulator? Because it kind of looks like her style of work.
I don't think that's her. I don't think that's
No?
her. Yeah, Art use more into. I think I follow her. Is it that Ink Girl on Instagram, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, she's more into
Small.
line work stuff and lettering and mandalas. This is I don't think this is really her style.
Well, I think it has. It's me. It is Are You Later. I thought so.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. It. She has it.
Oh no,
Funny enough, you can.
but this is not Cassia though, right? The one that sent this in.
Yeah, it says Cassia in the
No, but
Cassia.
it's Cassia. Are You Later? Is that the same person?
I'm guessing it must be.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That's new because I don't think I've seen. She hasn't posted that one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
must be
that is.
held on, been holding on to it. Yeah, because she does this. You can just kind of.
Yeah, I really like this Cassia. It's very nice.
So she sent it from a different email address. Okay.
Ah, okay.
Don't you go messing with us like that. My
She wanted to get an opinion. No, I like that. Yeah, the light source is hitting it from the top right, I would say, because if you look at the top of the head where it touches the lotus, it's darker. So yeah, I think that's the only critique I would give. Even with the back of the arm, so the focus, you've done the focus in the nose, you're giving it a soft line, and on the underneath the lip of the leopard, it's got more of a sharper edge, which gives it more focus, and then the top of the arm at the back and all the way around the sides, you've given it a soft edge, which gives it that more blurred focus, blurred
yeah.
effect in the back, which is really nice. So that blurred effect that you've done on the arm works really well with this tattoo. Well, it's a really cute tattoo as well.
And she's over here hating on her lines. I think
Oh no!
I
Well,
don't see any like really prominent. But when you looked at this piece, those lines didn't pop out and go, "Oh man, those lines." I think that's when they become an issue. If they're really crying out to you, none of them seem to be
no.
harsh or anything like that. I even like all the little extra lines she put in these leaves
Yeah,
out here.
the whip shading. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, very cool. It's usually really cool.
very nice art. Very nice.
All right, we have a different person here. Are there any actual?
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
was
there's any
trying to.
tattoos here, Chris McMahon. Thank you for checking these out for me. The turtle was the I would read them, but there's nothing here. Chris, if you get the opportunity, man, or whoever you are, send it in again. I'd love to take a look at it. Definitely would be cool. Oof, man. Oh, all right. Want to look at something just for fun here? All right. This person sent this in at 6:45 p.m. today. I meant to say I'm gonna get my tattoo stuff out and have a crack, not a bash. I lived in Canada too long. Too long. Okay. Uh, this person here sent an email in today at like 6:45 p.m.
Okay.
and they look pretty nice from the top here. They might not even be watching. That's okay. Hi, my name is Catherine. Let's see. I'm a tattoo artist with 2.5 years of experience. Here are a few of my last works. Would be happy to hear from you. Cool. Well, she gets to hear from Joey too. Bam. Whew.
Oh,
Those are
that's
cool.
nice.
Those are cool,
Like
man.
this is not my style, but
Mine neither,
yeah,
but
I really
I
like this.
appreciate it. Are
Yeah.
these this is one? No, this is okay. These are I'm tripping out here. These are two different tattoos or two of the
No,
same
no, it's
tattoos
the
at
same.
different.
The
Yeah.
left one zoomed in.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Looks cool,
Um,
man.
you know what
Definitely.
I like? Is it's a fox, right? But the
Yeah.
eyes is that our foxes don't have eyes like that. I'm assuming that's more of like cat eyes, but
Yeah.
it works so well. I think the eyes are. See what I mean about the eyes? Like it
Yeah.
gives it so much. It's almost got like a sinister. I don't know. The eyes is quite sinister, even though it's meant
They
to be. It's
are.
like a beautiful piece. But the eyes make such a big difference in a piece. If you can give it life, it's so important. Yeah, it makes such a big difference to me. That's what someone told me. So
No,
and
it's working here at least. I mean, and these lines are really nice as well.
yeah, this is very nice. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's not my style, but I can appreciate all different styles. And I
Absolutely.
like that. So this is who is this one?
Cool. I like this. I don't. The same person.
What's the name?
Let me see. Man.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
her
okay,
name is Catherine,
okay.
but the email I don't has a different name.
So
But
she's used opaques in this one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
At least
I
at
think
this point.
that maybe the middle leaf. I think
Here.
that, yeah, I think it's I don't know. It's a little bit flat. Um,
because they used like one tone for it,
Yeah, it's
probably.
one tone, but I think she left the top 3 petals just quite. It's just like skin, and I don't
What
know.
would you have done there in your?
I think with this piece, there's there's no. I think for me the contrast, with the directional light that I was talking about.
Okay.
So the rose, she's used opaque, so it's like if I was to decide what side of the light was hitting this rose, I'll say it's coming from the top right ish. But whereas the leaf in the middle, you can't really tell where the light is hitting it from. But if I had to change something, I'll
Oh,
probably
I see. Because
yeah.
it's just kind of open, too much openness to really get a light source.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably shave that bottom bit of that middle leaf up a
Yeah.
bit, and then tucked right into that corner underneath the triangle. I probably would have made that like a darker tone altogether because it's away from the light source.
Yeah.
But yeah, just little things like that really
Yeah.
it
No,
helps a lot. Yeah.
I like to hear. Because I feel like those are literally the things that take a tattoo from being a good tattoo to a really good tattoo.
Yeah,
And it's hard to know those things without hearing other people
yeah.
tell you.
This is what I've learned. Just watching videos to be honest, and then applying it. So it's like anyone can do it as long as you just apply it with purpose and just
With
yeah,
purpose.
just try
Yeah.
and improve really. Oh,
Oh,
wicked!
wow. Wow. Quite a
Oh
range.
wow! See, I can't touch color. I just wouldn't.
Oh,
I think the helmet looks healed already. I think
oh,
the fanner.
that's a good point. It is, and if
So
that is sealed, that is
yes,
quite nice. Quite nice.
see if it was all healed, it's even better because the glove is in focus at the front.
I don't
And
think it is. I can see the purple stencil right here.
okay, so it's fresh. But yeah, if it was just healed and it looked like that's
Oh,
perfect because it looks like the glove is really focused, and then Thanos' face is more blurred out. But I think the back is healed. From what it looks like, maybe the left side of the helmet is she touched it up a little bit, but yeah, this is really nice.
yeah,
Like
you can see right.
I can't do color, so anyone that can do color blend mixing like this
Yeah, and this is really nice.
is
Really
so
nice.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
very hard to do.
You see those people that do I don't even know what it's called, but they'll do like a portrait in red tones or in blue tones, or
Yeah,
it's wow. I mean, I
there's
guess that would be easier to wrap my head around than like a full pure color portrait of some kind. But I always think it's pretty wild.
yeah,
Really get in on
it's
that.
really that's what they use though. The thing is, what you just said, they use those blue or red tones. That's their light source. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a blue or red light basically, and it's the
Oh,
same principle, but
right.
it's just instead of having the skin as a highlight, it's that blue or red color, and it's really hard to do. Yeah,
No,
really
I
hard to
don't.
do.
I
Oh,
gotta take baby steps, man.
yeah. Oh, this is nice.
Okay.
Is this all the same people? Yeah.
This is all the same, right?
See, this
It's
is
all
like
from the
this
same
is more
person.
my cup of tea. I
This is
really like
very
this.
different, though. You can definitely see there's some stuff fresh, some healed here. I've seen this face a lot of times, but this is a cool one.
I think it's mostly healed. Maybe the bottom of the rose she added a leaf, and then the top with the eye.
Yeah, this looks like it might be put in this. Oh yeah, you can see
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they went back and retouched some stuff, maybe from a
Yeah,
healed.
I think the eyebrow is just freshly healed. You can see that the scab's probably just fallen off. But
Mm.
I really like the shading. It's really soft. I really like this one.
I like they brought this purple in here though. This is kind of different.
No, I don't know if is that meant to be purple? Is that or does it look like a
I
stencil?
believe so. I don't know. That looks. That's a good
Could it be a
point. It
stencil?
could be, but it looks deliberate to me.
Yeah,
Because look
that's
at
very
this right
cool.
here. This they packed this black in here. You would imagine after wiping it off, this purple would be gone.
Yeah,
So I was intentional. So I don't know.
yeah.
Obviously, this person's not here, but I kind of like it though. That purple.
That's it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, shall we see what's next?
Yeah, let's see what's next. Yeah.
That's why I said this person wasn't
Wait,
from today,
so
but
this person's like an all rounder.
yeah. That's like,
Yeah,
and they
that's
do all
but
round really well though for
yeah,
two and a
that's
half
what is
years.
very hard. Yeah, like there's people that say they can do everything, but they can do everything not so good in a way, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah,
That's where I feel like I'm trying to get out of that spot. But
yeah, like
this is
the color
everything
blend is so
really
nice in
well.
this.
Yeah, smart, Smart. Left.
It's
Oh, these
solid.
openings for the white too.
It's really well saturated as well.
Yeah, and the lines are clean because this is the
Yeah,
kind of
very
thing where
clean.
you could have great color work, but
Yeah,
you're not feeling this in black. You have to nail these lines.
yeah. She can do he or she. I don't know. Is he or she?
Did we do
She. I
Catherine?
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, see, look, this is like every style she sent in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is
the last one.
literally. Oh,
She
is it? She just literally sent every style of tattoo out there.
the best of every style,
Yeah,
that
it's
she
so
had
good. She's really good. Very talented. Very
God,
talented. Better
for
than me.
2.5 years, man.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Golly, man. It's
You carry on.
well, she put in a lot of work. Nobody who does
Yeah,
this knows. You what thousands of hours of videos, and
man.
you
To
know
me,
she put in time.
this is really good stuff.
Very nice.
She's a solid all rounder.
Yeah, I hope that she's able to see this, and I
Yeah.
wish she left an Instagram or something, but there's nothing here because I would love to follow her. But
Did you
anyhow,
you missed this one then last time
well,
or?
we only look at the stuff that's sent in during the live. If it's sent in afterwards,
Oh, okay.
we don't because I mean maybe nowadays, like I said, the channel's kind of calming down, less
Yeah.
viewers and stuff. So I could probably get away with looking at more. But there was a point when there was, I'd go through and I would delete hundreds of emails after a while because when I started this series of critiquing work, it just felt unfair because there's 200 emails and I only have time to go
Yeah,
live
yeah.
once a week, and none of those people were even watching. So it was like, all right, fine. You
You know,
guys are here watching.
you could just set everyone a limit of two pieces only. Maybe I don't know.
I have said that a couple times, and I think it's resonated with most because most people send in 2 or 3 pieces, but obviously, there's people who send in quite a bit more. So sometimes
Yeah,
me and Andy will click on one. There's like 8 tattoos to go
yeah.
through, and the kind of critiquing we do is just not a lot of time for you kind of get
Jeremy
into.
said, "Did you block my email?"
Why would I block your email, Jeremy? I mean, I don't know why I'm asking you that. Like, I don't think so, man. Do you want to try sending it into the tattoo me something at gmail.com? Try sending it to that email. I'll check that one. It's literally tattoo me something at gmail.com. I'll check that one out in case I unknowingly blocked you, but I guess anything's possible. Chris says, thank you for checking these out. The turtle was the first, skull and snake my third, both on me. The sparrows are my fourth and on my wife. It needs repair. I'm 51 years old, been a collector since my teens and started on fake skins on and off for a year now. I've learned a lot. Thank you. Okay.
I don't think you're ever too old for tattoo, but
No.
your back. I think your lower back has an expiry date though.
Oof, oof, oof.
I've
Ain't
got
that
back
the truth?
problems already.
Ain't that the truth? You just gotta get a regular chiropractor appointment.
Yeah, I actually wear this belt support when I tattoo.
Do you?
Yeah,
Like a
because
lifting belt, like the kind where
no. It's you can get them on Amazon. It's just like an elastic belt. It's almost like a waist trainer or something, but you strap it around, and what it does is it stabilizes your lower back, and it helps support your lower back, so you're not just constantly arched.
does it
And
seem to
yeah,
help you?
it helps you because I think the first time I did like a 7 hour session, I was in so much pain. I think I nearly passed. I was in so much pain. I felt paralyzed. I was like, I can't do this if it carries on with this. And then I watched some guy's tattoo video. It was a really old tutorial video, and he said that he has to wear a belt now because he was really old. And I said, oh, you know what? I'll give that a try. I bought it, tried it on. Next day, I did another tattoo or something. And it literally, I didn't feel anything. And I was like, oh my God, this is a godsend. So I bring it with me every time.
Oh, well, there's certainly one to try that out now. Yeah, okay. Oh, good, Jeremy. Yeah, try that out. All right. So, what was the snake one? Let me find out. The turtle was my first. Okay, we'll start with his first tattoo, the turtle. And this is obviously healed. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just I wonder how long healed it is because it still kind of has that sort of like
I think
it's a little bit
he
harshly put in.
I don't think it's that long healed. It looks freshly healed, but I think he had blowouts on the bottom left and bottom and top left fin. Even I think in the snout of the turtle as well, there's a blowout there as well.
Mm.
And on the bottom right, one of the toes not joint up.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a first tattoo.
Sorry. Yeah, for first tattoo, not too bad, right? Couple
Yeah.
little blowouts. I'm sure you probably learned a lot. I think they said it was on himself.
I
And I
think I
think
think
you should do
I
them on
think
yourself.
practice on fake skin. If it's your first and you're just starting out, practice, get some real skin, that brand real skin, and just
Yeah.
practice on that. Just to just get your lines, improving your lines. I mean, I didn't do that personally, but I know I should have. But yeah, just that's I think that's one thing you could definitely do.
Nice. And let me see. I think the snake, turtle, skull, and snake, my third, both on me.
I think this is more your area of critique, Dave. Because like
Yeah.
this is not really my style. So
Right. Right.
I don't know. I don't know how to judge the color, etc.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's honestly it's a tricky thing to look at other people's stuff and say this is what I would do. This is what you like because it's hard. But I think the color's saturated pretty good in here. These reds seem saturated pretty
Yeah,
good. I mean, this is healed, so I mean, it
yeah.
survived the healing process. It can be a little tricky when you just try to mix green, like your color in with a darker tone, like this is maybe black whipped out or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it worked all right. Could it be a bit better? Yeah. Um, some of this up around, I can tell this is healed, maybe slightly still healing because the hair seems a little short still here. But up in these areas, like I said, if it's still healing, that might be the issue. If not, you might be drilling some spots in a little hard, meaning
A
your
little bit,
machine
yeah.
might be running a little bit faster. Um, then and maybe it takes a note from what I learned today and back the voltage off a little bit.
Yeah.
That might help a lot. I see he got a little bit of a whip out here, or a bit of a sometimes when you're
Yeah,
learning how to shade, it
that's
looks very
yeah.
harsh. This is kind of harsh, but it has a little bit of a you know what I mean, a
Yeah.
little something at the end there, which gives it a bit of a softening right at the
It's
end.
got a nice soft gradient there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and these bones got they got some dimension to them. The white is I'm guessing this is white packed in
Yeah,
those
that
teeth.
is
It's
white.
pretty well saturated. I guess I would just keep an eye on as they heal to see if they smooth out a little bit. So you can see that like, the skin's still a little like crunchy. I
That
don't know how to.
it's still freshly healed.
Yeah, I think
You
it's
can
still
tell, yeah.
going through that healing process. So when it's fully healed, you'll really be able to tell what
Yeah.
what worked and what didn't. But I mean, this is healed ing, like hair is growing out of it. So these colors aren't going to just fall out or something. I mean, you've made it past that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, first couple tattoos, sure,
Yeah.
sure,
You know how to pack it.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And then this is on your wife. Um, I think here we can see a little bit more lining
yeah.
struggles, but it's you can't really hide these. You know what I mean? They're out there. I don't think she's rocking around with a bad tattoo. I think
It's
she
not bad. It's not
no.
bad
I
at all.
think this will
Uh,
even heal and look even better when it heals. Personally,
yeah, yeah.
'cause the yellow will heal and the black will heal and the when you put yellow and black together, sometimes it looks kind of greeny. It's just like a
Oh,
greenish tone.
I don't even know.
Yeah, no, it'll tone out a little bit as it
Yeah,
heals
yeah.
out, and yeah, not bad. I like the two tones in the leaves here. Um, yeah, I think this one's all
So
right. I think
this one, not real like
nah.
for someone that's learning as well. It's pretty good for someone that's only did a few tattoos. So
Yeah, you certainly don't want to see my first few tattoos.
no, you don't want to see mine either. Yeah.
No, no.
It's just
And I will say this there's this main line going through here, from down here up and around. And it stays pretty smooth, like that kind of has
yeah.
that pretty fall through. There's a bit of a spot there where the two don't, but
I think he's
not
running.
too bad at all.
He might be running it a bit too fast because with the
Yeah.
break, there's two breaks at the bottom. So maybe he's running it too fast. Just slow your hand speed down a little bit, just and then get those lines in there. If you're doing it too fast, you're not giving the needle enough time to get the ink in the skin. So that's probably why you've got those two breaks in the lines at the bottom. Um, but yeah, for me, I don't know if you're going to do work with line work, just make sure you just try and improve on your lines. But I think your packing's decent for someone that's just started. I'll
Yeah.
probably just say work on your lines and work on shading as well. But other than that, yeah, just keep doing it. Just keep going.
Yeah. Not too bad, Chris. I think Chris, you guys are too kind. Thank you. Chris just totally overworked. Okay. Well, at least you know now, man. At least you know these places that have that crunchy look.
Yeah.
It was drilled in a bit. This is unfortunately how you learn sometimes, because if it weren't overly punched in there, it would heal a bit of softer even.
See what he did
Great.
with this. You see the black shading. I can tell from what it looks like anyway. He's only shaded with one tone, which is either
Right.
the dark solid black or the one just under, just like close to solid black. But he didn't. If you're gonna do some black shading, you probably want to do like get a few lighter tones, maybe mid tone, or don't even have to go for the lightest one. But yeah, it looked like he tried to shade with just one tone. That's why it doesn't look as smooth.
Yeah,
But if you know what I mean,
I do. I think some people try to do pure hand pressure,
yeah,
and that's not always the best way to go.
it's not always the best way. No, some people can do it,
Yeah.
but most times if you want consistent smooth blend throughout, and you're not perfect at it, try and use softer, like lighter tones. It helps a lot.
Definitely. Hey, thanks, Chris. Let me see.
Thanks,
Oh,
Chris.
we got Rodney. Oh, let me check real quick. Let me drop this down real quick. I'm gonna check to see if what's his name was able to get his piece in on that other email address.
What, the one you blocked?
Yeah, the guy blocked him. I don't know how to block people on my emails. I can block people on and all the grams and the YouTubes and all that jazz. I can block people. And people, if they get mad, they're like, "How dare you? You blocked me!" Like, yeah, I blocked you, an asshole. You're out of here, man. I don't have to sit here and listen to it. They just get so blown away that you could do that. It's like this. Sometimes you have to, man. Been tattooing a little over a year now, and first time doing one like this. Appreciate the feedback as always. All right, Rodney, you must be in the chat in order to know that to send work in. That or you just got randomly lucky.
Was it to a couple of years? You say? Over a year.
Yeah, a
Okay.
little over a year now. First time doing one like this. It's kind of hard to tell from here what we're going to get, but here we go.
His hands.
Oh, okay. I did not see
Oh,
that.
okay.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely, man. I think that there's a lot more shading in this, so I might as well just let you speak on it.
I
I can get
think,
closer if you want to get closer. I know it's
yeah,
hard.
if you could just get a little bit closer. Let me see. Can I see the bottom actually? Just
Yeah.
yeah. So you saturated the black. Okay. I think you didn't. You've lined it first, the silhouette, but you didn't go all the way up to the lines. You can see little breaks between the solid black and the lines. I don't know if you can see that as well, but
Yes.
yeah. So that's one thing that you
That's
could improve on next time. Just make sure you go right up to the line. If you're going to do silhouette, I hate doing silhouette much because I just find it's very it's quite lazy. But not in a bad, no offense to you, but I find it personally. But yeah, if you wanted to do silhouettes in future, just make sure you're going right up to the line. Yeah, it's saturated quite nice though. Let me see the hand.
Yeah.
See the hand here is where if you was trying to go for realism, I would say like if you're looking at it and you blur your eyes out and you look at it, you can't tell what it is.
Right.
You actually can't tell what it is.
I thought it was a tree from the thumbnail, to be honest. I thought
I think I could tell it was hands, but I didn't want to say just in case it wasn't hands, but I could kind of guess it was hands. But I think the shading is very monotone. It's just light shading throughout. I think you was maybe too. I don't know if you was worried about going dark where it can be darker, or looking at the reference in the back. It's not very. It's quite a monotone reference as well, actually.
Oh, I didn't even see the reference. Good eye, man.
Yeah, I think it's quite monotone, the reference, but yeah, I just like I said before, if you look at a picture that's quite monotone, your reference, if that's the reference the client wanted, then try and imagine a light source where it's hitting it from some sort of direction. If you just scroll down a little bit, please, Dave.
Sure.
To the hands. So.
What do you want? Up,
Oh,
up. This
scroll
way?
up. Sorry, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, up.
Yeah, if you just imagine some sort of light source hitting the hand, they would have just given it more contrast and more like a bit more depth. And where the wrinkles of the hand, I think there's too much lining going on. If you was going for realism, that is like the wrinkles between each knuckle, it's like soft lines. So you could have went in with a softer tone rather than putting a solid black line in those the wrinkles in the knuckles. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The creases
I
in each
absolutely
finger,
do. Yeah, yeah. That's
even the palm
I
as well.
freaking hate hands, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's good and good advice as well. I kind of think. I almost think that all right. So if I had to get rid of any lines in here, it would be like up in here. To be honest, these through here, they kind of feel like lightning bolts to me a bit.
yeah, it
With
is
this
sort of like
zapping, but
some,
I mean, it's better hands than we've seen in some of the other ones, so I'll give them that. But
yeah.
it would be cool to see a little bit of black tucked in some of these depths. Give it just a little bit more there.
I think
Um,
even on the outside, the border of the hand as well, where the shading is. I know it's in the reference, but you see the shading is not touching the hand, so it
mhm,
looks like you've just quickly shaded around it. But I'm looking at the reference. The reference is like that as well.
that's
But what
true.
I've seen is from the reference as well, which I never do. I have a rule about this that I don't
Tattooing a tattoo.
copy anyone else's tattoo.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was watching. I'm like, man,
I
you really rough
never ever copy.
tattoo.
If someone says to me they want this piece, I'll say I can give you something similar to this piece, but
Yep.
I'm going to design it in my style. And they either say yes or no. Most times they agree and they want to see what I've got, and I'll show them different variants. But most times I was just really bad copying from another tattoo because sometimes the other tattoo is not great, and you're not going to learn anything from it because you're just, do you know what I mean? How do
Yeah.
you?
Well, dude, I absolutely. I've
Yeah,
fallen. I have fallen into this before. And even if I recreate it, I don't know. I've used tattoos just as he is here. He's changed this, obviously, right? So down
yeah,
here at the bottom, he's got a different thing. Okay. But this is his reference. And yes, I have tattooed where other people have tattooed, like verbatim, like using it as a
yeah,
reference. And found that they missed stuff. Now I have missed stuff in mine because I didn't do my own due diligence.
yeah.
And
That's
I do
it.
the exact same thing you do now. I mean, it's been that way for years because you learn this quick, I think. You learn this
Yeah,
kind
you
of
learn
thing
this
very
very
quickly.
very quick.
Yeah, so they send you stuff, and like I've said it before in the past, they'll be like, "No, I want that." And they're very adamant sometimes. Not all the
Yeah,
time. Most of the time, they are cool with you being like, "All right." But what I will do, and I have no choice to do it too, because if someone sends you a photo, it's on a curved surface. It's not like you're going to be like, "Oh, let me just go ahead and trace this.
yeah,
And I'll give you that." No, it's curved. So nonetheless, I still have to go back out and recreate this tattoo.
yeah.
And even in the process of doing that, it is slightly different. But most of the time, they're happy if you give them the exact imagery they wanted, that thing with that thing with that thing. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
when you're
you're right.
starting out,
This is a hard
like
thing to do.
this person's been doing it for a year. I know it's still early stages, and I know you're starting out, but I think copying another tattoo, especially if the other tattoo is not great,
Mm,
um, you can't improve on it unless you've got an artistic eye. And you say, you know what, I'm just going to use that as a base reference, but I want to add
yeah.
my own shading. Then you could do it like that. But if you just copy, it looks like you've copied it how you saw it with the hands, and how the hands are in that picture it's not the best reference, I would say.
Yeah, Ronnie is telling us that all the lines in the hands actually lightened up, but were done in the lightest gray wash. Well, they went in kind of dark to be the lightest gray wash.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you went in a bit. You could have gone lighter. I think the lightest grey wash to me is one drop, and the
yeah,
rest water. One drop of black and all water. That's the lightest.
it will heal light too. It might go in a bit
And
darker, but it will heal light.
the white as well. I think the white on the nails as well, and I think on the tip of the knuckle, one of the knuckles, it looks like you just thrown in white in there where you thought it should be white.
I have fallen short on
Uh,
this. I do this more often than I should.
yeah, so it's sometimes you don't need to put in white. Sometimes it's just little things that might need it, like the white on an eye, like the reflection of an eyeball,
Yeah,
like the white bit on that, maybe the edge of a tooth, the your lips where of an animal where it's wet, places where the light was mostly be quite shiny and prominent. That's where you probably want to put in the white. But to create like real white highlights is to use the skin tone. So if you want to create like a
Right.
true white highlight, if I wanted to get the side of my head where it's lightest here, I
Yeah.
would do this side mid, dark, etc., etc. Build up, do mid tone here or like a light tone here, and then go to my lightest, and then feather out, and then don't even touch this area where it's the whitest. And then when it heals, it will look like it's like natural light hitting that
Yeah.
area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. There's been a few like what is it, the Mad Hatter or whatnot. People ask if what white I use to pack into that, and I've told them there is no white. It's just that there's so much dark around that white,
Yeah, yeah,
or that white, that it, and your eyes know what that's supposed to be, that it just puts it together and thinks it's white.
yeah, yeah.
I've seen it in other people's tattoos all the time, and when I get the opportunity, I ask them like, "How'd you saturate that smooth white?" It says no white. It's like, man, it still gets you too. So
It's,
when done properly.
it's no white because they've transitioned that light, that soft light tone into that open skin where there's nothing in there, and they've
Yeah,
transitioned it so what if it's blended into the skin so well that it creates the illusion of a shine or like a gloss off of that open skin where they haven't put any white. And who does that really well? You know, Lil B tattoo, the French.
yeah,
Yeah, he was one of my early ones that I used to watch when I started, and he doesn't use any white at all, but he uses the use of open skin so well that it creates the illusion of white highlights.
yeah, yeah. He was, he's in, what would they call him? An OG.
Yeah, he's an OG. Yeah,
He is an OG, man. Yeah, and I love the fact, man. I like that guy.
yeah,
I don't know him as a person, obviously, but he seems like a straight
he's
up individual.
yeah, he is. He is.
You know.
He stopped doing it so much now. I don't know what he
Yeah,
does now. I think he's more into Japanese traditional stuff.
yeah. It's been interesting to see his whole journey, where he went, like physically left the
He
country.
he used to travel and do mobile tattooing around the world. I think.
Yeah.
And that was I thought that was so cool.
Then he had a like a little talk. I don't even call it talk show, but he was doing like a little show there for a little while. Like I don't know, it wasn't really tattooing,
Oh
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
what's his buddy's name?
Sebastian? No,
Was that?
Seb? No, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
somebody
yeah,
out there knows who we're talking about. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah,
But yeah, I know, I totally get it though. I think sometimes you just move on, and I think he just focusing on what he wants to do and is sharing what he wants to do. I guess, takes breaks from here time to time to just get his mind right. I imagine. I don't really
yeah,
know, but I like him. I like the guy as a
yeah.
person and as a tattooer.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from. He didn't explain a lot as much, but I learned a lot just watching his stuff. But someone said it was Chris McMahon. Is he the one that sent in the last one? The hands.
Well, sometimes the emails don't always go. It says
Oh,
Shane.
okay.
Oh wait, no, that's who we just looked at. Let me see. Rodney.
So,
Rodney sent in the hands. Oh, Rodney, right there. Rodney. Yeah, he's in the chat. He says all the
Okay.
lines in the
All the
hands.
lines. Yeah.
I won't do realism piece on someone till I practice on fake skin.
Oh, is that not on real skin? That is on human skin, right?
I would imagine.
It looks
unless they
looks
have
like
one of those body parts. You know what I mean? No, that's got scars
No,
and stuff on it. That's a human. So unless he's saying that he practiced this on fake skin first. I will say that the lettering is pretty decent here. That font.
Yeah, the lettering is fine.
It looks all right.
Yeah, the lettering is fine. The saturation on the silhouette's fine. Maybe just go up to the line, the outline that you did. But it's I think for me, the hands could be improved. But yeah.
Well, let's look. Okay, Shane's up next. He says, "Give it to me straight, guys. I'm Shane. I've been tattooing human skin for about 6 to 8 months now. After lots of time on fake skin. All right, man. Well, we'll start with this dinosaur guy over here.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. Yeah,
I like that.
I do too. It's funny. I wonder what people who are like totally into doing all these different styles would think. Because I don't know. I think
this is like
cool. You know what I mean?
Like dot and line work, and
yeah,
I think the whip shade and at the top maybe just it looked a bit like he was going to the right and down. I think he went in different directions there. But other than that, the whole piece, yeah. I think he cross-hatched it, but he kind of went off a bit. It's like if you look on the top right of that circle, there's like a darker whip shade, and there's a patch there. So you might have went a bit too much with that on that side. Went a bit too dark. You didn't go with
Right.
the lightest tones. If you went with a lighter tone there, that wouldn't be noticeable. But with I don't know, just from me looking at it, no offense to it, I could just say see, and also around the top right of the moon as well, or the moon. It's like a darker
Yeah, for sure.
patch going around the side of it. But other than that, I like this. I do like this piece. It's very nice.
Very cool, man. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Ooh, that's up under the. I know where that's at. Ouch.
I don't know, like what like line wise, what do you think, Dave? Me, like I said, I'm not the
Yeah,
best
no,
at
I'm. Yeah, I guess so. Well, there's blowouts. Well, you know what? Here's the tricky part: is this stencil is throwing me off a little bit because you get this bit of stencil haze through here, which I immediately thought it was blowouts, but I also see a bit of this like stencil look here, so I
yeah.
don't know because some spots seem a little light. The hard part is I wish you nailed this line a little better. I think you know
Yeah.
this too, though. You know what I mean, or not you as per se, but I'm sure you do. But Shane, it's one of those lines out there in the open. You either nail it or you don't. You could. It's up to you. Sort of slowly build these ones up. These real visible ones. If you're not super confident, it's a thing you can do. It could go sour, and the point seems a little balled up there, which could be because you ran that down and stopped, or you came back the other way, or you started there. If you when you pick up and start a line, if you're in that spot for too long, boom, it creates like a bit of a bubble there. Um,
I don't know, when I see stencils left over, I feel like it's because you may have rushed it a bit.
yeah, I mean, how do you have a stencil left unless you let it sit for a long time, man?
Like for example, if you maybe like if you took a time a bit more, you would add more time to make it the line a bit cleaner, and then that time of after wiping as well, more wiping, the stencil would have been gone. So I don't know. Whenever I see tattoos with stencils left on, I feel like the tattoo's rushed. But I don't know. Sometimes I might be wrong in it, but that's what I feel anyway. Because
Yeah, yeah, and it makes it
yeah,
hard to know whether these are blowouts or not. I
yeah,
don't
and
think they
that's why I
are.
said like just take your time with tattoos. It's not a race or anything like that.
What are your
Unless,
thoughts here on the shading portion?
yeah. Oh, I like what he's done there
Yeah,
with the horn, right? You know that round bit, that curved bit around the bottom of the horn.
yeah.
He's got a mag and he's dragged it in a straight line and he's curved it around to create loads of little lines.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the mag lines, but it's not. He's done it intentionally, so he's giving it that illusion. I really like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. It's a really
Smartly
clever trick.
using.
Yeah, and I think he's done that with the sword as well. That little middle bit of the sword on the right side of that horn. That
Yeah,
he's done it with that as well. So that's a really clever trick. That works really well when you're doing fur on a lion or a tiger on their whiskers. If you do those lines with the whole mag, you go slow, you drag it down, but you use a really light tone. It creates like loads of layers of little hairs that are really
oh
fine. Yeah,
yeah. I
but
think it was.
you go with a light tone and you just do that slowly and you build it up. It looks really cool.
Somebody asked. I think argue later. Would you go over those lines again to even it out? Yeah, yeah, I would. I would. It's up to you how you do it. Depends
But would
on.
you have to go in with a bigger liner?
You could do. In my opinion, it's up to you though, right? Everything's got its risk, so you might want to wait for this to heal, obviously, because you want to go but right back over it again
Oh
and
yeah,
again. But if you wanted to, you could go with a fatter liner or a round shader and just rerun those. You don't have to rerun all these lines. I would just then change the style of the piece. Okay, bam, the blade's going to be thick lined. Boom, boom, boom. The handle's going to have a thicker line. Just thicken up the pieces that you have to, and it'll actually give the tattoo a lot more dynamics. And now you got line weight
yeah.
variation. Or the other thing you could do is bust out like a 3-round liner. I don't like to zoom in this far because this is unrealistic for the eyeballs, but where the cursor is, and you could just kind of do your best to kind of
Just clean it up, basically. Yeah.
clean it up a bit and see if you can make it work. But it's up to you, and it's a tricky spot. This spot sucks. It's a tattoo. You know, the skin here is
Is
not.
that the armpit? Yeah.
That's
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
right in here. At least that blade's out there a little ways.
It's like one of the
Uh,
worst parts to get tattooed. Pain
yeah.
wise.
Or I could see. I mean, you would have to go long term here and create a whole nother piece, like a much larger piece. You could shade off of this blade outward, so the negative space is on the inside, and do something else. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to how much the client want. You know, but what else? What we got? One more piece here. All right. Well, this is the glare that you try to get rid of, but
Yeah,
hard.
this is where a polarized lens. You can get
Yeah,
them for like £10 or
yeah.
$10
You're
off Amazon.
cheap. These little ones that go on the camera.
Yeah,
Little,
just put it on the camera and then you adjust the lens until that glare disappears.
yep, that's it. That's it. It's cool for a lot of things too.
Yeah,
They
it just
said
makes
there's
your tattoo look better.
it does, and it's going to show imperfections too. Though I think that's something
Yeah,
important to remember too. It's going to show where your blacks aren't packed. It's going to
yeah,
show where you know it's a double edged sword. You get rid of that glare, and everything looks a little crisper, easier to read. But it comes with its you know.
yeah.
I don't know this one. It looks like this person here. I can tell like yeah, like you could you know how to
I love that
tattoo.
one.
You know how to tattoo. Just
Yeah.
you know, this is all right. The lines look okay. Um,
Can I just ask, like, are you
black was
are
set.
you using how many tones of black are you using here? Have you got like a grey wash set, or are you just using one black tone? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he lets know. I think there's a little delay in the.
There's gonna be.
Let's see. That's Shane. Oh, there's gonna be more added to the Japanese dagger. Okay. Well,
Okay.
when you get that opportunity, hopefully you get that opportunity to see how it looks like healed. And
Yeah. So he said, I believe that was just black. I could tell. Yeah. It's just like I said, when you just use one tone, it makes it very monotone. So if you're gonna do shading, um, obviously you're trying to do it less pressure on the needle to create softer shade. But if you try and just add an extra one or two lower shades and you put that in there instead, you get a much better effect, if you know what I mean.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the only thing that I could tell you in terms of lines and stuff like yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, they look all right. Just and then like I said, packing black though, which is hard. And I don't like zooming this far sometimes because that's like unrealistic. But for the sake of helping you out, um, you can kind of like we talked about before, where if some area is supposed to be really black, but you can
Mm,
really see the lines, you can see the
yeah,
circles
yeah,
around the areas you want. It just means slow down a bit
yeah,
more. Like we've seen way worse when it comes to saturating. I'd say this is okay in a lot of ways
yeah.
because
This is not
the
bad.
different
It's
stuff
not
we've
bad.
seen. But yeah, I think that little bit would help too because there's not really a lot to really take in, and especially with the glare being there. But I think we can still see enough of it to say between what Joey said about the black. I think that's big. So
I think I don't know with the purple. I don't know if it's meant to look like that, but it doesn't look as well saturated. So
yeah,
I think when
I'm
that
not
heals, that's
sure.
going to dull down a lot.
Yeah, I don't really know what this obviously this might be a case, and I hate these cases where a client says, I want it in black and gray with a little bit of
Yeah,
color. And you're like, what the heck does that mean? Where does this just a little purple in the flowers?
yeah.
If I had $1, I'd probably only have like 20 or $40. But still, I feel like I've slowly pushed people away from that. Now I'm like, where would you like that color? Like you be more specific. So
Mm,
the whole thing, you want each so if you really break it down to the client and may let them understand that a little bit of color, sometimes they'll tell you a little bit of color. What they really want is full color. I don't know why they got to beat around the bush, but it's a thing. All right,
uh,
we all my goodness, Joey's got to get some sleep at some point here
yeah.
today. Well,
Someone said, I seen Daniel Silver use realism. Yeah, he's that's what he specializes in.
mhm.
It's I wouldn't say it's easier if you know what you're doing when it comes to stippling. I don't know if you just go to one of
Oh,
my you know the granddad piece I did.
I think I have Instagram still pulled up. Let me come here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the granddad piece I did. I actually shaded that with a 5 3 and a 5 liner because I forgot my 9 Mac.
Let
And,
me pull this up. Let me see. Where do I? Here we go. Bam.
so the face, this face was done with a 3 and a 5 meg, but I did it with such light tones and built it up that you can't see stippling.
Right.
So I mean, not a meg. Sorry, not 3 and a 5. 3 and a 5 liner
Okay,
for the
that makes more
face.
sense.
Yeah,
Got it.
sorry, not a meg. I didn't use a meg for this. The only time I use a 15 meg for the outside, for the background to create a soft background. But the face was done with a 3 and a 5, and I was actually surprised that I could get this smoothness with the 3 and the 5 liner. So it's not hard to shade with or stipple with a 3 and a 5 liner. It depends if you want a stippling effect. You got to obviously just run your machine a bit faster and whip it. You know, you
Yeah.
whip. But it depends what kind of effect you want. If you want more soft effect with a liner, you can run your machine slow and use lighter tones and build it up, and you won't get that stippling effect. But you can shade with a liner as well. Yeah.
Man, I'm looking forward to slowing my hand down. I know I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be frustrated, but I'm looking forward to fighting through that and seeing a bit of a difference in the
Yeah. Just set your machine down to 7.5 first, and then see how you get on.
Oh my! Oh, Jeremy, I'm getting all of Jeremy's emails now, like all 20 of them that he sent in there. I think they weren't going through, so he kept sending them. And Jeremy, I got you, man. I'm gonna jump
Charge.
over to. All
Let me
right,
just
guys. Yeah,
charge my tablet. Sorry.
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead, all right, guys. We're gonna be. uh,
For 5
Maybe like
minutes.
15, yeah, like
Yeah.
5-10 minutes, guys. We're
Okay.
gonna have to jump off of here because it's getting late for Joey, and I'm sure I told my wife I was like, yeah, just a couple hours. Well, it's been 3.5 now, so and it's only 9:40 here p.m. So
Oh
it's much
man.
later where Joey's at. It seems like I don't know why, but the people I always do live streams with are in the UK, 5 hours away, time difference, and um all the great people live in the UK, guys. So we have, let's see, we have Care. Hi, I have been tattooing on and off for less than a year. Still learning. Would love some feedback. All right, we're gonna have to move through these quickly. All right. Yeah, that's not too
This
bad.
is all you. That looks fine to me.
I don't know what it is. A little walking mushroom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I would not have put that on a hand.
No.
Oh man. Well, the color's not saturated. The
That's
line.
when that heals, or if it's not healed already. I think
Yeah,
that is healed. You
I
can
think
tell.
it is somewhat healed. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it's already dulled down. The natural skin tone is already coming out underneath the petals. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
not my favorite. Oh, all right. This suffers from being a bit harsh as well. These are. I don't know if this is healed or fresh, but the lines already seem to be bleeding together.
You know what? I find this writing in a few years.
Oof.
I've got it on my body. It's literally blob. It's one
Yeah.
big blob now. When you do lettering this small, my advice is to go in with the smallest liner you can find, whether it's a 3 bug pin or even a 1 liner,
Mm,
because once this heals, give it about 2 years, those letters will just look like one black blob because the ink spreads over time under the skin. I've got it on
yeah.
my leg and my hand. You can't even see it no more. It just looks like a blob.
Oof. And this is already getting that way, so
Yeah, and that's I think that looks fresh as well, and it already looks like that. So I'll give that about a year before you won't be able to read what it is anymore.
definitely. So smaller needle groupings there, guys.
For
Smaller
for
needle
for
groupings.
small lettering, use the smallest needle grouping you can get.
I don't know. I think this is. I don't know if this is. This might be fresh because I can see the white.
That's
So
the same one as before,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's the same one. I don't know if this is like a fresher version of it because we see white. Oh, I see the white in that too. I
Yeah,
just
I think
don't know, man.
the other one is a fresh one.
Yeah, I just wouldn't suggest. I say it a lot though. I remember the first time I tattooed a hand. I did not realize how deliberate you have to be about what you do
Yes, is that
because
yes?
yeah, and people do it so quickly. I don't know why, but
Hand tattoo it takes me about minimum 2.5 3 hours to do because you have to get the ink in right.
yeah, yeah.
If you don't get in right when it heals, it fades like a bitch.
Yeah, I think they
basically.
already fade like a mother trucker, the hand
Yeah,
tattoo. So you're trying to minimize what you know is going to happen.
yeah. Because you got to
Uh,
remember, you use your hands for everything. Like you put the amount of times you put your hand in your pocket to grab something out, you amount of times you wash your hand.
right.
That affects the healing. Do you know what I mean? So over time, the hands will fade a lot. Most times, people actually do a second pass on the hand tattoos because when it heals, it fades so much.
Right. Yeah. It is definitely. Okay. Well, this is probably my favorite looking one, like as a tattoo, but the
The
black around the
yeah,
lining and that's no saturation there.
yeah,
Mm. I think it's cool the
it's
little red effect we have here. That's
yeah.
cool,
I
but
think the cracked glass effect,
yeah,
it's readable.
it's
But
readable. Yep.
the black line, the solid black on the heart, yeah, that's not going to heal well. It's not, like Dave said, it's not saturated. So when that heals, it's you're going to see loads of patches on that black.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it stinks, but this is the kind of stuff you don't know in the beginning. I remember
Yeah,
putting
when
black
I
in.
see,
I
when I
thought,
first
what is wrong with my ink? What's going on? This is incredible. It's like it looked black in the moment, but your eyes don't know what to look for. You
no,
know?
you don't. Yeah,
Oh shoot. Smoke, you're ruthless. You're ruthless, man. He said that hand needs a
that's
mitten
it.
year round. Ruthless smoke. My God. No, this is the process. I think my favorite one of all these is this one right here because
Yeah,
it's just lined, and I mean even the lines aren't perfect, but it's readable.
yeah.
You know. Okay. All right, Jeremy, we got a lot. Rodney, did we already look at your stuff, Rodney? Hey, Rodney,
Mm,
this look different pieces. Hey, that's cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, it definitely looks a bit more like grayish.
I don't think that's opaque. I think he's just put because I think the glare and the white that he's put in, he's muddied up the white with the grey, the black, so he's giving it the opaque look. So
Ah,
you see on the ribs on the left, he's tattooed. Looks like he's tattooed white over black already, so it gives it that opaque look. But it's not. I don't think he used
yeah.
opaque. So
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
well,
Well,
it's not bad.
let's see this
Oh,
one.
this one's alright.
I think it's cool. A lot of light tones here. I think he is working in opaques or something like this. Has an opaque feel.
Yeah, on the top it does. Yeah, actually there it
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
yeah. I don't
This
know, or
this
maybe
is
he's putting white in his black and gray wash,
yeah,
which
I like this. It's nice. I think the critique mainly is I like how you put a bold outline across the whole thing. I love that look. You know
right.
when you get
Mhm.
like a realism piece and you can put a solid bold outline and it makes it look I don't know, it just makes the tattoo just look really cool.
Yeah,
But I would say um the shading. So you've gone for the soft shading. It's gone a bit red, but I can tell you've put in a soft shade in there, which is fine. But obviously, I think just a bit more softer blending. Slow your hand down a bit. I think you've tried to get it in too quick. So what it is that light tone you've got it in. You try to get it in too quick, and it's made the skin really red quick. But it doesn't look. It's not clean. Like you see on the left side of that belly.
yeah.
Yeah, on the left side of that belly, just below that pin. You can tell he's got it in there, the light tone, but he's done it so quick that it doesn't look like a clean patch of
I see.
shading.
I see what you mean.
Um,
I see what you
but
mean.
it will heal better, but you can't sometimes you can't get you don't always get lucky like that. When it heals, it will look much nicer when it heals, but like so you won't
Would
always
you
get
have
lucky.
taken the let's hypothetically say the next shade down from this, if there was a next shade down, and brought it from like let's say where my cursor is out a little bit, or maybe taken the shade, filled this area right here, and then brought the next
Well,
shade in and kind of peppered that out? Or would you
there
just
was
hand pressured this, finessed it out using the same?
I would have just finished it out using like a light tone, and then just 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 keep feathering it out until it goes really soft, and just reduce your hand pressure just so it goes even lighter. So you know how you can reduce your hand pressure for solid black to make a
Yeah,
lighter tone. Same thing with the lightest tone. If it's a tiny bit darker than you would like, and that is your lightest tone, just lighten your hand up a bit and go even lighter, and that's how you get the light effect. But I was just looking, even with this like. It's a bit confusing with the shades around on either leg and the arms because under the right arm you've got I don't know if that's an arm, but you got shadow under the right arm, so I'm assuming the light's coming from the top, but in the top of the arm you got shadow on top of the arm. So like I'm not sure where the light source is coming from.
I think that's been something to think more about.
Yeah,
Is light
that's
is
what nobody tells you
light
when you're
forms, yeah.
learning.
And he
Is
used okay, that's why they have that opaque feel without being opaque because he
oh,
adds
okay,
the white to
okay,
his gray wash, which is what I was kind
yeah,
of feeling like
okay,
it's like
yeah,
almost
yeah,
opaque
okay.
but not quite. And when this heals, I've tested it out. It's weird. It heals like there's no white in it, but for whatever reason, when it goes in, it has this opaque look, and
I
it
think
does heal
for
a little
picture
bit
purposes, when you first when on a fresh tattoo, probably for picture purposes, it looks really cool, right?
yeah, but when it heals out, it heals just like you would have
Black and grey.
black and gray with no white. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it has a slight different look because you just can't get around the fact that there
So,
is a bit of
well, if it heals the same, then I would probably just get rid of it completely because
well,
you're
it's
just
for the reason
it's
I use it and the reason why I shared it with people is like you can see what the tone looks like
oh
before
better.
you
Oh yeah,
use
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. So when you
yeah. I get
dip
that.
out of your cap, you can visually see instead of them all looking black and you just knowing exactly what each produces. This way you can like I don't know.
Okay.
It's been beneficial for me, but I'm thinking about maybe trying without it and just now that I've
But I think for people new to it, and
yeah,
if they haven't got a drop system or anything set up,
yeah,
then it might be beneficial. But I think for you, you know what your drop system is, right? So
yeah,
your darkest will probably, I'm assuming, will be your left, and then lightest to
yep,
right. So
yeah.
you would know which cup is your lightest anyway. No.
Yes, I think the
So,
difference is though because there's white in the caps, you
yeah.
can physically watch the ink go into the skin
Oh, okay.
and it will be the tone that you see. It's a weird thing. I've been people been telling me to do it for years and I never did.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, yeah.
thought that's just weird. And I did. And I don't know. It's almost like it helped me out, but I feel like I've kind of figured some stuff out through that process and I kind of want to try it without it and see how that feels. See
Yeah.
how that goes into the skin. And then just kind of I think that's just the whole process trying something and then be like I like that and then reverting back and forth trying different things. But I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry, 1 second.
No, you're good, man.
Oh,
All right, Jeremy. We're
I
gonna
don't
check
think.
a look at yours, and then we're gonna depart. Oh, okay, okay. Jeremy sends these pieces in quite regularly, and I've looked at them. He's done many of them. I think these were the ones he sent in last week, so I think he would like you to look at them.
Okay.
Hey, Dave. Here are my latest pieces. Just got home from work. Happy Tuesday. Joey's work is great. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
So I will give it to you, my friend. If you want me to zoom in anywhere, let me know because I mean, I
Is
can.
it? Is it? It's a who is this? So it's a portrait of. Okay, just says a portrait of a woman. I mean, the black saturated nice. At the bottom of the hair on the left, bottom left side, the black
Yeah.
saturated nice, and even in the middle, you've done the slightly darker tone there as well. So it gives it illusion that there is some sort of light source hitting it from the top right, maybe.
Okay.
You've added like the tone on the cheek to give it that cheekbone effect, which is cool. I would probably just say that you lacked like that. Obviously, the eyebrow. I don't know if the eyebrow is meant to be just a line, but just even the softest bit of shading around the left, the bottom left side of the nose, maybe underneath the right eye, and even just a bit on the underneath the eyebrow slash left eye as well. Just a bit of soft shadow, just to create more of that 3D. Do you know what I mean? Give the face more depth.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I
Quiet.
take away that shading on the cheek, it looks like you didn't shade the face at all. It just looks very flat.
Yeah, we've been pushing him towards. We need a bit more here, a bit more. We've gotten him to where he's given us a line on the side of the face. It used to be almost like nothing there.
Yeah.
And I know he's trying to do like I think from what we've seen of his work over time is trying to do like this minimalist, very light
Okay.
shading. But I think like as you obviously know that's what he's you can look at this go okay obviously we're trying to keep it real simple here mod, but it still needs a little bit more, just a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks
Feels
unfinished
them.
if you
Yeah,
ask me.
yeah.
And the I think the eyes, I don't know, underneath, is she meant to be looking up? Because I don't know if the pupil was meant to be touching near the bottom eyelid. I don't know if she's meant to be looking up,
Right.
but I don't know if you went down far enough with the pupil, or I don't know, she looks like she's like, I don't know, half asleep. Or but
Mm.
remember what I said about the eyes. The eyes just give it life. So just something to give the eyes life. Just maybe, I don't. I think you could have brought it down a bit more with the pupil, and then maybe just add a little white highlight on the eye. Just it just helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
No,
it's not bad. It's not bad.
let's take a look. We have another one here.
Yeah, same with this one. This was better. So you've gone lighter. So the lightest tone is from the cheek going very close to the side of the lip. You see that lightest tone. That's what you could have applied to the rest of the face,
Mm,
unless that's what this is the look you're going for. And obviously the left side of the cheek as well. You've done a super light tone there, but what it's done is if that was on real skin and it healed, that
yeah.
would disappear, and then you
Right.
would have an infinity face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I was trying to get him to. He's doing it a little bit here, doing different
yeah,
things on the side, which is cool because at least that's the side of the face. Oops. Will still be there, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah, a little too soft on the side there.
yeah. You could have went a bit darker there. Obviously the eyes as well. They're two different. It looks like two different eyes.
Mm,
One's like thin and narrow, and the other one's just like a big egg shape kind of thing. I don't know.
yeah, this one's a bit oblong, I suppose. A bit,
Yeah, it's two different shape
yeah.
eyes, and yeah, I don't know. Just the top of the hair is nice. That
Yeah,
you can see you can see the tones in the hairs and the individual strands, which is nice. I think that's the best part of the toe, and the side of the cheek where you shaded it as well is really nice, soft transition. I think that's what a lot of people are scared of is super. They're either scared or lazy, too impatient or lazy even to
mm,
use their lightest tones, like a one or two drop. They feel like they're doing it, it's not going in, so they'll just pack a darker tone in instantly,
yeah.
or they don't get it in enough because they feel like nothing's coming out. I don't. I don't know. I find it really hard to explain, but you just got to trust it. You just got to make sure that you're getting it in the skin, and even if it will get red, but you got to trust it. If you wait a little bit for the redness to come down, you'll see that tone start to come out a bit more. And it's just those little subtle bits of shading that make a big difference in a realism piece for me, anyway.
Nice. Nice, Jeremy. Thanks for I'm glad you were able to get that in. All right, real quick. Gosh, dang it. All right. We're gonna get through these last two and then we gotta get Joey to bed.
Yeah, I need to go to bed.
Well, you know what? Here we go, real quick. We'll just take a look at them.
This is probably more your
Wow.
street.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a stencil,
Yeah,
so
that's the
good job
stencil.
on the stencil. This is wild. All right. We at least took a look at it. I'd have to reach for words and stuff that aren't there right now. But Joey, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
No, thanks for
Almost
having me,
four
man.
hours. I mean, the kids are gonna beat you up tomorrow. Like Dad was up all night. um, appreciate you taking time to look at my stuff as well.
No, that's
Appreciate
not.
the
That's fine,
input,
man.
people here. I have a few notes I wrote down, so
Good
um,
kid.
I'm walking away from it with learning something. I hope I get the opportunity to put this stuff to work soon, and I'll be sending you stuff here and there to get Joey's
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
always up to date on your Insta and your YouTube anyway, so
Thanks,
I'll
man.
be checking out.
I appreciate the support on all fronts, and I hope anybody who's watching this after the fact will support your channel. My brain shot.
Oh,
Your Instagram and
yeah,
where in
yeah.
any other way we can.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for the support. Yeah, I've got a few people following me as well, and thanks for the kind messages and the chat as well. But
Awesome.
but yeah, appreciate you having me on, Dave.
Oh, of course, man. Anytime. I would love to do it again sometime and
Yeah,
talk about whatever comes up.
Probably not so late next time.
Yeah. I feel bad that I'm even complaining about it being 10 o'clock at night over here because my goodness, I appreciate it. Everybody who stayed up late as well. But until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Yeah.